All right. I'm presuming that you folks out there in the wide internet can see me and hear me, so I'm going to start talking. Hello out there in the Twitch verse, people, and thank you for joining once again for Bag of Giving, our lovely bi-monthly series that we do here on Arb's channel, where we get a bunch of writers together and play games and have fun and spotlight charities and do cool stuff and hopefully put a little bit of good out into the world. If this is your first time joining, my name is Brandon Crilly. I'm one of the co-founders of this. I was going to say scheme, which makes it sound really bad. But this little enterprise, along with Mike Underwood, who's another author, friend of mine. So I'm here both running production and kind of running the show and DMing for a game tonight of The One Ring 2nd Edition. Bam. Look at it. But with a twist. In terms of how this is going to work in the setting that we're playing with for the One Ring. Before we get into the game proper and I explain the twist and we jump into playing, I'm going to let our lovely players who are joining us tonight introduce themselves. And it just dawned on me, I didn't warn them that I was going to ask them to do this. So hopefully you're all prepared. We'll just go. Oh, no, Marie. Marie, where did you go? We'll just go in order of how I see you on my screen. So if you can introduce yourself and the character that you are playing today, that would be lovely. And going from like left and then clockwise, we'll start with Marie.
I think, Marie, you're muted.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay, good. I can't hear you, Marie.
I'm so excited that I can't get my voice out. Try that again. I'm Marie Bilodeau. I am a science fiction, fantasy, horror author, and a professional storyteller based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm very excited to be playing tonight. This is going to be super fun. This is also my 4th time. I played on this channel on Friday, A Court of Blades. I played on Saturday, Ebron, and now I'm playing tonight. So this is like the end of my little weekend tour here. But it's going to end on a bang as I play Vorma, daughter of Jeln, a dwarf from Durin's family who is seeking revenge, perhaps a little bit of wealth, and perhaps a little bit of honor, and definitely some fun. So looking forward to playing.
Excellent. Kate.
I am Kate Heartfield. I am a writer also in Ottawa, Canada. And my latest book is The Embroidered Book, which is a historical fantasy. And I have a book coming out, an Assassin's Creed novel coming out in August as well. This is Minerva. Say hi, Minerva. And character,
which Assassin's Creed is it set to?
It is set in the 19th century, so closest to Syndicate, although it's not Syndicate characters, but it's in the 1850s. So, yeah.
I read her book and it's awesome.
Oh, yay, Marie. Okay, so we're making this all about me now. So that's me. My character is Cirith, who is a ranger. And she suffered a loss. Her sister died in battle, and she... the way that she's interpreted this in her life is that there are some deaths in some battles that don't get sung about, and she wants to make sure that no death goes unrecorded and that no deed goes unsung. And so she wants to fight with the people who are not getting sung about, and she wants to sing their songs. So that is Cirith.
Awesome. Sharang.
So I am Sharang Biswas. I am a game designer, writer, and interactive artist. I'm normally in New York, but I'm currently visiting faculty at Dartmouth. So I'm in lovely New Hampshire, where the weather is glorious. And my last story, Newnet, was published in Lightspeed magazine. My next story is also going to be in Lightspeed magazine. So watch out for those. And my biggest recent credit is probably I was one of the designers of the Avatar: The Last Airbender role-playing game. So check that out and support it, because by supporting it, you're directly supporting me. And it's Pride Month, so pay gay people. I am playing Farald, son of Alder, who is a really hot barding dude. he is a former calligrapher whose scriptorium was destroyed by wargs. He managed to kill at least one of them and rip its tooth out, and he wears that around. And he's very gothy and very hot, if I haven't said that. And he like inspires people with gothy stories and poetry, and he's very hot.
It's very important. Very, very important. Also, we were joking backstage that Sharang is like in every gaming thing lately that I have ever seen writing some sort of component, which I think is fabulous. And yeah, and the Avatar Legends game is absolutely killer. So I definitely second supporting that. Wob.
Hi everybody, my name is Wabagijik Rice. You can call me Wob if you like. I live in Sudbury, Ontario, and I'm originally from Wasauksing First Nation, which is on Georgian Bay near Parry Sound, Ontario. I'm an author and sometimes journalist. My most recent published story is a short story called Heartbeat in an anthology called Swordstone Table, which is a collection of Arthurian retellings published by Vintage last year. Currently working on my next novel called Moon of the Turning Leaves, which is a sequel to my last novel, Moon of the Crusted Snow. Just really stoked to be here tonight amongst writers that I admire greatly. And tonight I'll be playing the character of Elahir. He's one of the Wolves of Lindar, and he's basically been left behind of sorts. His family has fled in sort of the recent times since Gandalf has taken over. He's nomadic. He's got some smithing skills, but he's also very proficient with the bow. And he's more or less like this mysterious dude. And I've always been drawn to the elves in this sort of canon because they do have these this mystique about them. And I wanted to try to capture some of that tonight. So we'll see how it goes. Just really happy to be amongst y'all tonight. So thank you very much.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys. And yeah, like I said, I'm Brandon Crilly. I'm also in Ottawa, like Marie and Kate, which is very strange. And yeah, I'm.
Wait, am I the only person not in Canada?
I think so. It's okay. We like you anyway. It's fine.
I'm very foreign. It's fine.
Oh man, but yeah. So yeah, no, I'm Ottawa-based author, teacher by day. Wear many hats, including games writing and short fiction. And my debut novel is coming out in the fall. From Athos Arts, who are based out of Michigan, who are incredibly lovely people. And I know are frequent on this channel because Athos is also Greg Wilson's publisher, who is our lovely host here on Twitch, which is very cool. So before I get into the world building thing, I mentioned that we try to do some good here. We try to spotlight some charities here at Bag of Giving and take donations. You folks who are here watching right now get to find out something before anybody else does, which is that our friends, our new friends, I should say, at Free League Publishing, who publish The One Ring, have offered something to our lovely scheme here, which is they are offering not one, not two, but 5. Editions of The One Ring second edition through Drive-Thru RPG, specifically for our giveaway purposes, and I want to give them away. And so starting tonight, and I'm mentioning this to you folks who are on the stream, we're going to do something a little bit different today, in that those of you that are watching tonight, and I'll keep mentioning this as we go through the stream, if you email us at contact@bagofgiving.com. And I will mention that in the chat periodically. contact@bagofgiving.com with your favorite Lord of the Rings character, whoever that might be. I will that will enter you into a draw for one of these 5 digital versions of the game. Normally we ask for donations and stuff, but I'm feeling generous. And so if you want an entry, email us with the name of your favorite Lord of the Rings character. If you would like more than one entry in our draw tonight, what we normally do is we ask for donations we have a bunch of spotlight charities that are listed on our website, bagofgiving.com. If you go on there, donate to one of our spotlight charities, send us the donation receipt. Don't give us your address or credit card information or anything. We don't want that. But just a little proof of your receipt. Normally we give, it's like every $5 gets you an entry. For this stream only right now while we're here tonight, I'll say every $1 gets you an entry. Because again, I'm feeling generous. Every $1 just for you folks who are watching tonight, because you folks are awesome because you're here. So that's what we're going to do just for tonight to one of our Spotlight charities. So go on our website. The details are there. I'll keep mentioning it a few times. And let's do some good and support some
What is our
awesome
Spotlight
charities.
charity today, Brendan?
I'm thinking we've been deciding on one, and the link currently isn't on our website because I'm a little slow. But I'm going to go with Story Planet. Which is they're a charity based out of Toronto, which is just a little bit south of us here in Ottawa. They do literacy programs and creative writing programs, especially for youths, but for folks who don't normally have access to those types of things. They do phenomenally cool work, and because they're a nonprofit, they take donations. So it's Story Planet. I'll grab the link once we start rolling, and I'll drop it in the chat. Wob has done work with them in the past. They're a very, very cool organization. So if you can throw a little bit of money at them or at any of our other charities that are listed on our site, that would be lovely. And we'll update that as we go through tonight's game, and that would be great.
Yay, literacy!
Yay, literacy! Where would we be without literacy, us writer people?
Not reading the rules of this game. That's where we.
That's our secret. We read everything, right?
Of course. No idea. So that's So I'll mention that in the chat. As I mentioned already, I'm DMing and doing production at the same time, so I might be a little slow in the chat and the email. I apologize in advance if I am, but that's the plan for tonight. So I'm gonna dive right in to our story tonight. So you got kind of hints of this in our characters' backstories there, or our characters' introduction, but we're playing the One Ring Second Edition with a bit of a twist. In that, the One Ring, the game is typically set between the events of The Hobbit and the events of The Lord of the Rings, somewhere in there what we refer to as the Twilight of the Third Age. Our story is going to take place in a different time, and actually a different Middle Earth, let's say. Because this takes place 5 years after the end of the War of the Ring. So we are 5 years into the Fourth Age. But it's a little bit of a different Fourth Age, because 5 years ago, the War of the Ring came to an end when the combined forces of Gondor and Rohan marched on the Black Gate and defeated Sauron, much like what we know and love from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. In our version of events, though, in this version of events, they were led into battle by Gandalf the Grey after he accepted the One Ring from Frodo Baggins, believing that he could resist its influence and use its power for good. Between killing Saruman, bending the Nine to his will, wielding the ring in battle against Sauron, it's no surprise to those around him when Gandalf refused to destroy the ring, believing that he needed his new power to continue protecting Middle-earth. Full credit that this scenario is partly inspired by a video from Nerd of the Rings, basically titled "What if Gandalf Took the Ring?", which I find as a fascinating concept. So that's where I got the idea for this. So with the dawn of this new Fourth Age, Gandalf the Grey has become the observant pilgrim, often going unseen for months, but kind of popping up here and there, while his servants and the leaders that he's designated to rule maintain order and promote his benevolence. The monsters are fewer, cities and towns are rebuilding, but rumors still circulate about why Rivendell and Lorien stand empty, why the Shire is difficult to enter or leave, and that the barest whisper against Gandalf the Eye can conjure the wizard faster than the spell he uses to make you disappear. Despite that, there are still individuals working to free Middle-earth from his influence and possibly save Gandalf's soul in the process. And the first part of that is partly where we'll meet our heroes today. Our story takes place in Tharbad, which is a ghost of a once thriving city that straddles the Grey Flood River in southern Eriador. Through 4 ages, this city has been a fortress, a trading center, the mustering area for a great defeat against Sauron several ages ago, a declining outpost on the edge of the Empire. But unfortunately, plagues and a great flood led to people abandoning Tharbad en masse, and then the stranglehold of a series of rulers self-proclaimed as captains of the Haven has only made the city stagnant. And throughout the Third Age, it continued to fall apart with broad swaths that are uninhabited and left to crumble. There's still some business to be had. There's still some secrets to defend. There's still opportunity within its walls, but these are often few and far between. And the distant rule of Gandalf has not helped things very much. Which brings us to our 4 heroes. So the 4 of you have been in Tharbad for a short length of time, looking for contacts, looking for opportunities, specifically looking to find a way to get in touch with the rangers of this area, the Dunedain, who are still around. They're much more secretive than they used to be, but you're hoping to make contact with them, and through these attempts to make connections and very carefully whisper in the right ears and become known, you've been invited to a meeting at the Bridge Inn, Bridge Bridge, considered the better of the only 2 inns in the North Bank, which is the half of the city that is on the northern edge of the Grey Flood. So the city is basically divided in half by this massive river. There used to be a bridge to cross it, but it doesn't really exist anymore. And so you're in the North Bank, and you've been asked to come to this Bridge Inn. The note said to visit the 3rd room on the left, on the 2nd floor, for information related to the friends you're hoping to make, which you took to mean the Dunedain that you've been attempting to get in touch with. And so as you walk up to the inn, or you're on the street up front, it's early morning, and so there's not a whole lot of traffic on the streets, and that is where we meet the 4 of you, and you may proceed as you like.
Oh, where are we? Inside the inn right now, or are we outside?
Right now you're outside, but you can head in whenever you like. If you want to chat a little bit first, it's up to you.
Okay, you see Farald, who is very hot, with his long hair. And I changed my mind. Instead of the warg fang being a necklace, the warg fang is braided into my hair, and that there's like a hole in it, and the warg fang is like woven into it, and it looks like extra sexy and gothy. And I am chatting with my bosom buddy Cirith, and I'm actually talking about a story that maybe Cirith knows from like oral histories, because she's a wandering person, and I have read a transcription of that story in a book long ago, and I'm talking about the story of how this one prince got tricked by someone saying, "Come meet your friends in a strange inn somewhere," and I'm like telling Cirith, like, only doom and gloom can come of the blind trust, which is a line from the story. And we're gonna start this with me saying, "Only doom and gloom arise from blind trust," but I like to perform it out in this awesome way. I have a very high awe, so I'm going to awe people. I'm like, and I'm like looking at Cirith.
Yeah, my friend, you're absolutely correct, of course, that this could very well be a trap. But since I am a ranger, I feel that I would be able to get a pretty quick sense of the situation, and see whether these are actually rangers or whether there's someone else out to get us. And maybe there are some common points of lore that they might know that I would be able to test them on, or be able to, maybe they know people that I know back in the old country, up north. I don't know.
So I look dramatically at Cirith and my companions. I'm like, well, I will trust my bosom friend, and if doom and gloom befalls us, I will be with you to withstand the doom, much like I have withstood before. And I go into like a long thing of how my scriptorium burnt down, which you all heard multiple times. And I just like say the whole thing again.
And it just gets more and more elaborate every time you say
it. Oh yeah, every single
too.
time. Every time. Like, instead of adding color to the written story, I add color to the oral story, right?
You do, and then you become hotter with each retelling too.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I'm gonna, while you're going through your retelling, I'm gonna turn to Ellie here, which I assume I'm walking beside. I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't trust these people sending secret notes. Who does that anyways? We're walking into a trap. I just know it.
Yeah, and I would agree with Vorma. I've been away from people for a very long time. This is a strange city to me, and Farald is sort of leading the way with his lore, and Sirith is sort of, found a companion in him. But meanwhile, I'm hanging back with Vorma because we're still sussing things out, right? And I prefer to keep a bit of a distance from the action, prefer not to get up hand to hand, but I'm a little weary about, these cryptic messages and, what could possibly be in that inn. So I'm confiding with Vorma at this point.
Yeah, I've got my hand on my sword and I'm just like, oh, strangers. We're walking into a trap with strangers. I'm just nodding at what Ilahir is saying because he gets it. Can't trust strangers.
So I'm supposed to be leadership type. So I finished this thing, which both of you don't listen to at all because you've heard it before. But I just assume everyone will be listening to me. But I say, Sirith, we shall proceed, for the doom we find is the doom of our destiny. Let us enter as comrades, just like the 9 ride together for evil, we shall ride together for good.
I'm glad that we're not trying for stealth because we certainly wouldn't want everyone to know we're coming if these strangers are laying a trap.
And in fact, you notice that just even though there's not a whole lot of traffic on the streets, for 20, 30 meters in both directions, there's glances of the fuck.
Because we have a hot human and a hot dwarf. That's why.
Just saying.
She does. She did that beard. She made nice tresses in her beard too, so it does look quite lovely today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also nudging Vorma. Yeah. I'm nudging Vorma too because Farald is invoking the 9, but we're only a mere 4, and we may not know what we're getting into, right? So. And
you say, and I'm like, yes, but 4 and 4 more and 1 more become 9.
He can do math. I like that about him.
I prefer to be worth 3 alone.
My scriptorium burned down before I finished my math courses, right? I was mainly doing my writing, so. I like to show off whenever math comes out. I'm like, I must show that I can actually do it.
Well, I can count wealth, and I can't exactly go against that particular logic. So do we have a plan when we're meeting with these strangers? Or I suppose Farald will take it and run with it once more.
And I'm like, run like the wind! I say about running like the wind.
I think as the ranger, I should go and be a scout and find out whether I recognize these people, whether they recognize me, whether anybody can give me a hint that these are actually rangers. Because if they're Dunedain, then we should have something in common, or maybe I'll recognize someone.
So why don't we go into the inn? The 3 of us will order drinks while Sirith
runs
scouts
upstairs
around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'll go up to the 2nd floor. And the 3rd door on the left, I think.
Cool. Sounds good. So Sirith, you head upstairs. The 3 of you grab a table, I guess. A
table where the light falls so that half of my face is in shadow and half is in firelight, so I can ominously and gothily look at the rest of the room.
I'm going to complain about the price of beer here. They sell this too much.
Amazing.
And it's human beer.
Who even drinks this? Swell gulp. Ellie here, you won't like that gulp.
Oh yeah, does Ellie here drink beer as an elf?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I think because he's been, roving the land in the last 5 years, he's sort of acclimated himself to, the various traits of the various locales. So he's acquired a taste for it at this point.
Cool. Nice. But Vorma's denying him the beer. Right?
Saving, my friend.
Amazing. It's not very busy in the bridge anyway because it's fairly early in the morning. So you're with you folks there, it's maybe a 1/3 occupied. You look around and it's mostly laborers kind of lagging around before they begin their day and, a few merchants. The interior is sprawling, so it's easy for you to find a spot that is well lit and also gives you a little bit of distance from anyone else just in case. Despite all the despite all the noise, no one seems to really be paying.
I have a stealth of 0. It's on my sheet.
That is going to come in so handy throughout this. You have no idea. But you notice that there's the bartender's kind of, he's this huge like barrel chested sort of dude, and he's practically racing back and forth behind the bar, even though there's hardly any patrons. And so you folks are going to be well taken care of. Cirith, you head upstairs to the I already forgot what room I said, to the third room on the left, on the second floor.
We've already split the party. It's been 5 minutes and we've split.
I know.
Yeah, I wanted us to take a moment to reflect on how cool we are.
The fellowship itself was riven, so shall we be riven, but for the good.
It's gonna be fine. Yes.
I won't be long.
It's gonna, you
I think.
So Cirith, you head upstairs, and in the hallway upstairs on the second floor, like, it looks like it was probably pretty nice a long time ago. There's what was probably once like lavish wood paneling, but is now sorry, lavish wood paneling below this like brightly painted blue wall. I forget what that's called, but like where it's half wood and half paint and plaster. There's a name for that, but
Wainscoting.
But the paneling is very old. Sorry, what was that, Kate?
Wainscoting.
Wainscoting. That's the wainscoting.
Do I get like a point in lore for that or something? Or?
Sure, I will give you inspiration for that. I don't remember what inspiration means in this game,
random things like that.
Impress me with the random knowledge that I should know. But yeah, but the paneling, the wood paneling is old, it's cracking in places, and it looks like someone has tried to refresh the paint with like multiple, obviously different shades of blue over the years, and so it looks like shit. But you find yourself standing at the door to the room that you were told to approach. What would you like to do?
Like to give a password that rangers would recognize. Can I do that?
Ooh, yeah, you can. Do I want to make the first roll? Yeah, I'm gonna say, you're gonna get first roll of the game, Kate.
Yay, Kate!
Oh no, I don't know what I'm doing.
You got this.
That's okay. You got this. Okay, so
right.
For anybody who has never played the One Ring before, the One Ring is a little bit different than say D&D, in that instead of rolling versus like a DC or something, you roll versus your own target numbers based on your skill. So Kate, this is going to be, or Cirith rather, this is going to be. Yep. I'll call this a lore roll.
Okay.
So what you're going to do? So do you have any points in lore?
Yes, I have 2 points, and it is also one of my particular skills.
Oh, it's favored. Okay, good. So that means, so because it's favored, you're going to roll 2 of your d12s.
Okay.
And because you have 2 ranks in it, you're also going to roll 2 d6. So 2 of each.
Okay.
What is your target number for your wits?
My wits is 16.
16. Okay, so with that roll, you are looking to get a 16 or better.
Okay. I'll just go now.
Do it.
Okay, so I got 9 plus 5 is 14. What does the Eye of Sauron stand for?
Oh, that's a good question.
That must be a 20, right? Or is it a 1?
Oh,
or is it a 1?
The Eye of Sauron counts as a 1, which in this game counts as a 0.
Yeah. Okay, so I did not get a 16 then. I've got a 14.
Got a 14. Okay. That's unfortunate.
Your secret password is like, hey, are you Rangers?
Yeah, hi. Are you Rangers? Say yes if you're a Ranger.
Don't lie.
Password is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, exactly. Password.
Oh man. So sorry, I'm just double checking the rules really quick. So so you make your best guess of what you think like a standard ranger greeting would be, the equivalent of like what you just said, like, hi, are you a ranger? And you hear from inside this like sharp, really short laugh of just like are you gonna come in or what?
All right, so I I think what I'll do is I will open the door at this point, but I will have my longsword in my hand, and I will look around the room and see what I notice.
Okay. Yes, the door creaks open, and you see inside what looks like not like a guest room like you would expect at an inn, but it looks like an office. So the interior, which is not very big, it's a fairly small square room, and it's been furnished with this rectangular wooden table in the center, with there are two wooden stools facing it, kind of closest to you, and there's this aged but comfortable-looking wooden chair on the other side, facing the door. And seated in that chair is a human woman. She looks to be middle-aged, although sometimes tough to tell in this world, but middle-aged-ish. Ochre skin with these like vivid blue eyes, and auburn hair that is styled in a bob that seems to be like done on purpose to accentuate the gray streaks that are in it. She's wearing these faded leathers in brown and green, and you see a short sword and a longbow that are resting against the wall beside her, obviously within easy reach, but she doesn't appear to currently be armed. Those are the only weapons that you see. And she's sitting there, and she kind of looks you up and down and says, okay, well, at least it looks like you can handle yourself in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Do you come by yourself?
I'll tell you more about me in a moment, but you seem foul but feel fair, and I think that gives me a good sense.
Hover through fog and filthy air. That too.
So I believe that you are one of my people. We're looking for the Rangers. So do you have any fellow companions? Are you a Ranger yourself?
You're very direct. Which
no
is
courtesy.
No courtesy. Which is sometimes risky in our line of work. And as she says this, she does. I'm gonna say just a hand gesture that you recognize immediately as being part of like a typical secretive sort of ranger gesture. And she says, so I hear you've been looking to make contact with the Dunedain.
I have, but I did not come alone, as you asked, and I do have some companions that I would like to meet with you if you're willing.
My invitation was for all four of you. So please invite the elf, the dwarf, and the bardling to come and meet with us.
All right. Well, if you knew who we were already, you could have saved us the bother. I'll go to the door. No courtesy. I go to the door and I call for my companions,
Sure.
who are happily drinking.
Downstairs, I'm talking about this like horrific story of like a barrow wight who like ate this woman and her children, and how it's supposed to like make us like feel better about fighting the shadow. And I'm like, but was it as bad as when my scriptorium got destroyed by the wargs? No, and I will tell you how my scriptorium, and like that's when we hear mercifully Sirith interrupting my second retelling of the morning of that story.
Amazing.
Nice. I'm just drinking and kind of mumbling about the price about it still, while making sure that Farrell pays.
Yeah, I have the most wealth, so yeah, I'm prosperous wealth, so yeah.
I've been nursing my beer and warming up to Farrell the whole time because I do have a penchant for lore at the same time, and I am very much enjoying his depth of stories at this point. So
I'm
making a new friend.
That's nice. I'm trying to put some of his stories to song, but I will never admit it just yet. Right now I'm too suspicious.
And so we hear Sirith, and I'm like, ho, companions, our fair Sirith calls us. Let us sally forth.
Sally, I don't sally, but we can go.
Sorry, pulling double duty. So you folks head upstairs and you enter the room. Like I said, there's two stools, so I don't know if whoever wants to take those. The woman you're meeting doesn't seem too particular about who takes what. But
I'll stand.
I'll take a stool.
I look at the others, waiting to see if one of them sit first.
I'll stand as well. I'll be ranger person in the back, standing near the door.
I'll be grouchy dwarf standing near the door.
Then I'll say, there is no rest for the weary, yet one must seek it when one can. And I sit down ominously. It's literally, I sit down ominously.
I like it.
Like you say it?
Just like, I like,
Okay, just
like my sitting is an omen.
got it.
I do this face.
Accurate play.
The ranger kind of gives you a look and says, "Okay, that I wasn't told to expect, but it's appreciated. Word, thank you for coming and for trusting the invitation. Word still tends to travel even in a dead city like ours, and I've heard that you folks are not very affiliated with the captain of the Haven, that you're not among all the dregs that I'm surrounded by all the time, that you folks aren't interested in swearing your allegiance to darker powers, and let's just say that the Dunedain are interested in people like that."
I have the horrified face because I'm shadow scarred and all that, so I'm just like, I say nothing.
She follows the look.
I'm like presenting as though I have been stricken voiceless by this idea that one could even be near the shadow. I'm just like,
There are people, my friend, who would gladly give their souls to the shadow. Clearly, he's not one of them. I don't know about the rest of you three, but clearly he's on board. So I take it upon myself to point people in their direction. How badly do the four of you want to make contact with the Dunedain?
Who are you and why should we trust you?
That's an excellent question. How very rude of me. My name is Gwilleth, and if you haven't heard, I'm, for better or worse, one of the members of the captain of the Haven's court, and have been for so long I feel like I can't get the stench off of me some days. But what that allows me to do is keep an eye on them, or keep an eye on the captain and his cohorts, and also keep an eye out for people such as yourselves.
can I make an insight check?
You can absolutely make an insight check. I was waiting for somebody to do that. You can totally do that. Yes,
because I'm all about like people stuff. So okay, so I have 3 points in insight,
Okay.
and my heart target is 14.
Perfect. So you're going to roll one of these d12s and 3d6, and you're trying to hit your target number.
Okay. So I rolled a 3, 6, 9, and 11. I got
Nice.
a 20.
Nice. And any sixes any sixes or 12s?
No, I got an 11. Damn.
Ah, shoot. Okay. All right. Yeah. So the other thing, and I'll try to remember to ask for it each time. But if you get a 6 on one of your d6s or a 12 on your d12, then cool stuff can happen. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if I forget to ask, just let everybody know.
Yeah. So I'm used to looking into the hearts of men for the darkness that lies within.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look for darkness in her heart.
and then like drag it out.
Yeah, like Temple of Doom, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just in this very short time that you've been sitting in this room, you get the impression from Gwilleth that like you can see, even though she tries to present a very casual and a very strong form as she's seated. As she's seated in this chair, you get the sense of someone who is weary. And as she mentions the fact that she's been in the court for a while and keeping an eye out for people, you get the sense that being in this role as a member of the court, and apparently, if not a member of the Dunedain, at least somehow connected to the Dunedain, it's taken its toll, which tells you that this is somebody who is on the up and up. in such a way that it like she's still at it and will probably still be at it for quite some time, even though it's making her weary. That's the impression that you get.
Okay. So I'm not getting any sense that she's like lying to us.
No, not at all.
or has
No,
ulterior
seems totally
motive.
straightforward. Yeah.
Okay. So I do my discreet nod to my companions.
How
which
discreet
by
is this nod?
Which by this time, we know that I have this discreet nod where
Perfect.
I'm like, things seem okay. So I do that like very discreet nod to my companions.
Vorma trusts it. She's content with that.
I love it.
Yeah, Ella here as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am not discreet, and I know Farrell very well by now, so I will say, thanks, Farrell. Yeah, I agree that that we should trust her. I'll just work that right
I love how Farrell tries to be discreet but doesn't. Spirit doesn't like whatever.
Because he's so hot. That's
Right?
The hotness interferes, yeah.
So Gwilith will say, so I take that as a yes, I'm very interested. Is that what that's very interested, or no?
I say, you look like a world-weary woman, and woe is upon your wildlife. I have one in song. I only have one in song. But I turn to my companion. I think I speak for my companions, as I often do, in that, yes, we are interested in aiding the Dunedain in their endeavors.
Okay. What do you know about Earthad Selen? And at this point, I'll ask everybody to make me a lore roll, because I don't know none of you have any idea what the hell I'm talking about.
So, okay.
Yeah, so what you're going to do, if any of you that have points in lore, which is under your wits.
1.
Perfect. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll 1d12.
Nice.
And then a number of d6 equal to how many ever points you have.
Oh,
so
I have a favor in lore.
Okay, so you're going to do 2d12 then, Sharang?
Okay.
So do I. I have a favorite in
Cool.
lore.
Then 2d12
nice.
for you up.
And it's like rolling the d12 with advantage?
You roll the 2d12s, and then whichever is the higher one, that's the one you keep.
Okay, but then we add all the d6s.
Add all the d6s, yeah.
Yeah.
Vorma trusts that her friends know what they listen to things. She really trusts that they'll know about this, and she's just waiting.
So,
I got a 6. I got a 6.
Okay.
I got, what's the Gandalf rune? Is that the 12?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I got one of those, and
Nice.
yeah, I got so that plus 14, so I'm good.
Perfect, yeah.
Plus,
So
I don't know if
I'm
the
good, and I got a
12
6, and you're good, and you got a 12. Nice.
perfect.
you said two d12s and 2 d6s?
If you've got 2 in lore, Wab, then yeah, it's...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But you pick the best d12, and you add the d6s.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And
So my best d12 is a 10, and I got 5 and 4 on the d6s.
Cool. And what's your target number? That you're probably fine
Target?
with it.
My target number is 15.
Yeah, okay, you're golden then.
Okay.
All
Perfect.
3 of
Okay.
us are pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very content my friends have got this.
Nice.
Go team.
So between between Kate and Sharon, between your 2 roles, you immediately, as soon as she says Earth at Selling, you both kind of look at each other, and this is almost like a moment of shared, oh, that one. And you both know that there was an old fortress during the Second Age that was called Earthad Selen, and I'll put it in our Zoom chat here. And it was what you know or what you remember from the old stories is that it was sacked a long time ago by Gondor because it was under the rule of someone referred to as the Lord of Nightmares. And he was a self-proclaimed Lord of Nightmares because he possessed a ring. Specifically, not one of the rings of power. Certainly not the ring that Gandalf now wields, but a ring with some minor magic power that basically allowed him to terrorize people in their sleep. in a number of ways. He could kind of project his mind. So the myth goes. He could project his mind into other people's minds while they slept. And after Urthad-Selen was sacked, the Lord of Nightmares is presumed to have been killed, but the ring was never found. And we're going back hundreds and hundreds of years. The ring was never located. And the reason why the two of you and Ella here, you've heard this as well, that people have looked for it over the years. Sirith, you know that the Rangers have looked for it in the past. Ella here, you recall that your kin, multiple centuries ago, had tried to look for it because you don't want to ring a magic ring with that kind of power just kind of loose in the world. No one's been able to track it down. And all three of you have heard kind of rumor more recently that Gandalf, not that anyone is really eager to say his name these days, is also has spent the past 5 years either himself or through his agents looking for magical items as well, and this ring is on the list, so to speak, of items that he wants to gather up for the protection of the realm, is what people say when they go walking around.
I stand up dramatically from my chair, toppling it over, and I'm saying, Ertahad Kelain, because I pronounce things differently because I've just read them, right? Ertahad Kelain, the fortress of the Lord of Nightmares. And I turn to Sirith. I'm like, Sirith, what did you tell me that the Rangers were searching for from there?
That was the ring that gave the Lord of Nightmares his power, but nobody's been able to find it. And if the best Rangers can't find it, then why should I believe that you have any information about it?
Yeah, I make another rictus face, like.
Gwileth will say, I'm not saying that I know where the ring is. I'm not sure that I want to know where a ring like that is. But I've heard a rumor that there's someone in Tharbad who might know where such a ring is hidden. He's being held captive. He's being held here in the city. And supposedly hasn't given up the location to the captain of the Haven yet. But it's only a matter of time. And so if someone, she leans in a little bit towards you folks as she says this, if someone were to find this individual and then find the ring, or say liberate this individual and then find the ring, that might be, let's say, of interest to the Dunedain, if you wanted an introduction.
I subtly look at my companions to see what subtle, discreet signal they give of whether or not they want to do this.
My subtle response would be, a ring sounds like the good path to stop Gandalf and to perhaps gain some wealth along the way too. So
as soon as you say that out loud for him, I think Gwillish kind of sits in a chair with it. We don't
ghosts. Ghosts and nightmares. I know.
Which is funny because Elahir literally can see ghosts, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like fold into myself and look to Elahir like, I know I screwed up again.
All Elahir will say is that he has recalled stories from his uncle before he departed on the ship to the west of such a ring in the similar location, and he is intrigued as well. So he will subtly give a signal back to Pharrell that he's on board too.
Elahir is probably the only one who's actually subtle, right? Because he's like an elf and stuff.
Yeah.
He's the only actual subtle one.
It's mysterious. It's exciting.
Yes, and of course I'm on board, but I would like to know more about the what is he? The Lord of the Haven? What is he?
The Captain of the Haven.
The Captain of the Haven. What are we in for with this person?
Yeah. So again, you've been to Tharbad or you haven't, and all four of you know this for long enough that the Captain of the Haven is a gentleman by the name of Tharnau. Who inherited the title from his dad, and his dad was like this brutal, drunken, basically dictator. And
I thought you were
Tharnau
about to say
is
brutal drunken dick. And I'm like,
basically, yeah. And Tharnau is not much better. He's the captain of the Haven. Like he's this self-proclaimed like, oh, I know the score and I know how to run things and everyone just needs to follow my rules, and there's a lot of rules. And he's known for like, literally going around and like, if people are stepping out of line, kind of thumping their heads himself, or with his cronies, and so he's not the greatest of mayors. Let's put it that way. And he's all the only reason why he has the job. It was rumored that he wasn't going to get it. From like he wasn't going to inherit it himself. There were a whole bunch of sons of the previous one, but he had a meeting with the wizard, and that meeting seemed to go very well, and he's been in charge ever since. And partly because of that meeting, no one's really stood up to him, just because of that. And that was about 4.5 years ago.
So I turned back to her and I'm like, you have your answer.
Excellent. Well, then, if you're interested, I would suggest, and again, you didn't necessarily hear this from me, that the old library on the South Bank might be the place to look for this this person who knows where the ring is. If you wanted to go and, say, liberate someone who needs liberating.
Svaral turns and says, a whisper in the wind suggests we go to this library. Let us go to the House of Learning, which reminds me so of my scriptorium that burnt. And I start telling the story again as we head out of this inn towards in the direction of the library.
Perfect. So, for the sake of brevity, I will say that having taken this quest on, or is there anything else, any other information that anyone wants from Gwyleth before you leave? Perfect.
From my trusted friends have got it.
Cool. And any prep or anything anybody wants to do before you head directly to the library?
A warrior is always ready.
It's gonna go great.
We're gonna literally the whole route. I just recount my story again.
Yeah, just constantly.
That's my prep.
The best part is that when I was putting this together, I had no idea that you were going to have a lost scriptorium. This makes it all the better.
I'm going to be keeping kind of an eye out just to who's overhearing, if anyone's paying extra attention to us, just because I'm a little bit concerned about my friends and the fact that we're heading.
I can dig that. Make me I'm going to have me roll for that.
Scan? Is it a scan check?
I'm going to call it
I think it's awareness.
Yeah, right? Scan is more like, to put in D&D terms, scan is like your investigation, like you're looking at something close. If you're looking, you can't do it.
I can't be aware enough. I can't do it.
Well, you can still roll it. You just don't get any bonuses.
Right, I've got a 14 that I have to meet, and I have no dips in awareness.
Oh, well, then,
and it's a D12. So
but
that tells me.
If you get a 12, though, it's something, right?
That's true. If you get a 12, it's an automatic success. Doesn't matter about the target number.
Okay, good luck to the dice. No, that is not a 12.
So
it's not even close to a 12.
Noted. So as you folks are walking, Vorma, you're just kind of like you're like with like hawk-like focus, just like looking at every and nothing you see.
Meanwhile, your pockets are getting picked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just like, and then with its gnashing teeth, it leapt at the Grandmaster. Oh, the Grandmaster's scream of pain! I will never hear another like it.
And just on and on and on. And yeah, so you make your way to the South Bank, which, again, like I mentioned, Tharbad is divided in half across the on either side of the Grey Flood, which is this massive river. And after the flood and the plague and all these things that just decimated the city, the North Bank is, I mean, you saw from the state of the inn, the North Bank is at least livable. The South Bank, not so much. The South Bank is mostly derelict. A lot of the buildings there were never rebuilt and just kind of left to crumble. There's very few people that live in the South Bank these days.
Did we get across the river?
Yeah, wasn't the
So
bridge
there
washed out?
are the kind of ferries that can,
Okay.
or ferrymen that can take you across, and they're willing to do it for just a little bit of coin.
Okay.
So if anybody has wants to throw like one treasure at that,
It's a
What
whole
was that?
treasure.
or half, I don't know if we do half treasures in this game.
I would say I think it's like if you're prosperous or whatever, you can buy small things.
Oh, that's
for
true.
free.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. Yeah, so
Buy
yeah, we want
small
to worry about counting. Yeah, good. I'm glad you're here, man. But yeah, so you just you throw a few coins at somebody and they ferry you across, and this like kind of sickly colored sort of river, and even as like you're crossing the river, you can see the bridge that you like. It used to be that you could cross this massive stone bridge to get between the two banks, and it's crumbled. Like it's virtually impassable these days.
I turned to Ella here because Ella here has longer lived than all of us, and I'm fairly young. I'm like, Ella here, I have read so much about rivers that were healthy and full of sweet water. Tell me about that because I have never seen such a river.
Well, let me tell you, Ferald, the young Ferald, in my 150 years into my adulthood, these rivers were once prosperous, flowing with mighty fish and great sustenance. But greed has overtaken this city, and it has been punished by great waters, washing away this bridge. And thus we must persist onwards with the help of this ferryman, who can regale us with more stories of how things once were here.
Ferryman, tell us tales of doom and gloom so that we may know what awaits us.
The ferryman, who is this like your stereotypical, sadly, like just bent over, like grizzled, like just massively long beard, this hood, and just like looks perpetually wet all the time. He's pushing the boat along. He just kind of glances back at you, hawks up a giant loogie, spits it in the river, and goes, "Look around, man," and just like keeps.
And I say, an admirable sentiment of doom and
Let me get out my writing kit and take that down.
And Varma will just be like clutching. She does not like being on the river, gross or otherwise. Oh,
That's
water.
Feel the boat rock back and forth a little bit. I see. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat. I see in the chat. Yeah, I will remind people about the giveaway in just a moment. But yeah, so you managed to cross the river. Flip a couple of coins to the ferryman, and the library itself is pretty well known around Tharbeck because it's one of the few structures in the South Bank that's at least halfway intact. And it's this. It's larger than a lot of buildings around it. A lot of the buildings around it have started to crumble and fade. But the library. Let me just double check my notes here. So the library is it's these two separate square structures that kind of sit side by side, and they're linked by some sort of corridor. And they're both topped by these. But each has a wide stone dome, so it's kind of like two dome structures, like pressed right up against each other. And you can see, it's larger than all the surrounding buildings. So as you're walking down this broken cobblestone avenue that's just overgrown with weeds and puddles and just detritus that's been left for years, if not decades. You can see the structure, this looming structure up ahead that's easily 3 or 4 stories tall. And as you approach, and you kind of know this from people talking about the library off and on, you have these wide arches that are pressed into the exterior walls. And at one time, there were carvings and friezes depicting all sorts of historical or mythical moments from across the legacy of Middle Earth. They're mostly weathered away or cracked or collapsed due to the various calamities that the city has suffered. And so the library honestly looks rather sad, just from the outside as you folks approach. It's like this once probably amazing structure and repository of knowledge. Just like it looks like it's amazing that it's still standing, given the damage to given to the fact that the carvings are all messed up and the damage that's all around it. But the road leads. It's kind of like at the end of this wide, like I said, cobblestone avenue, and you find yourself walking up to the main entrance, which is this single curved wooden door. It's maybe like 10 feet tall, so it's a fairly sizable entrance. And other than the fact that the door looks to be like, you can see a few jagged holes that are broken into it, like the door's not it's not in perfect shape, but it is otherwise intact, and it appears to be shut.
I'm just going to take a step beside Farrell and just in a very awkward way, just kind of tap him, understanding from all his stories of the sanatorium that he might be sad to see scriptorium, that he might be sad to see the library in such shape. So it's very awkward. She is not a comforting person.
I get that sentiment, and I'm like, don't worry. It is at least more intact than my scriptorium, which burnt down horrifically. This is glorious compared to the pile of ashes, the smoke of Mordor. That is all that remains of my scriptorium.
I will say, well, it looks like we might need a burglar, and since we don't have time to get a hobbit, we may need the skills of Vorma to get us in. Or do we want to try the door first and see if it's actually even locked?
Vorma looks a bit like deflated once you suggest that you try the door. So she tries, like, fine, and tries it. I tried the door.
You tried the door? It's a little heavy for most people, not for you. And slides, a couple of feet open with this loud, audible creak. It does not appear to be locked.
I am disappointed, but I step in and just kind of glance and wave my friends through if I'm not getting shot immediately.
I figured you might be disappointed. Roll for Dan. No.
You're dead. Oh.
This happens every time in our home D&D game, Marie. Every time you walk, don't just walk through a door. Check for traps, man.
Vorma is pretty confident here.
Yeah, and luckily you're fine. So on the other side, so you pass through this door, and there's an atrium immediately on the other side. And given the size of the building, the atrium is rather large, and noticeably dark, even though at this point it's morning, like it's maybe like 9 in the morning ish. And as your eyes adjust to the lack of light, you notice that there are curtains that have been kind of haphazardly. I say curtains, but it's like just bits of fabric that have been haphazardly nailed or hung over, like on the walls, presumably covering the windows. And to keep out all the light. And so you see, from the atrium, it's kind of this wide open space, maybe 20 feet by 20 feet or so, and immediately beyond that you can see, just on the edge of, for Elahir and Vorma you can see much further, but for Searth and Ferald you can see just on the edge of your vision, where the stacks begin in this library, and you can see these wide stone shelves that look like either as like single rectangles or L shapes that have been kind of placed seemingly at random in this space. So it's not like ordered rows or anything. You got like a shelf here, and then a shelf here, and then a shelf here, and kind of just stretching off into the distance in this incredibly dark interior.
So where at this library? Because we're supposed to find the dude, right? We're not researching the ring or anything. So
that's
and the Dunedain woman said that we could find something loose here. She didn't say what, right?
No, she said that there was somebody being held here, who knows where the ring is.
Oh.
So
I yell out, "Ho, librarian! We seek knowledge in this house of learning, for only the light of learning, which is the light of the Valar itself, can illumine us in the shadow."
Everyone make an awareness check for me.
Oh.
I'm too busy.
Right.
Okay, so the rest of you make me an awareness check.
Nope.
Yeah. So if you have a scored awareness, or even if you don't,
I'm enjoying the echo of Farrell's words. It's like, it reminds me of the mines. It reminds me of the caves. It's quite beautiful, actually. So I'm enjoying the echo.
yeah. This is probably the most at home you felt. I mean, the whole time you've been in Tharbad, actually.
Aww.
I am good in my awareness check.
Okay, perfect. Any 12s or 6s, Kate?
No, I got 1199.
Okay, Wab?
So awareness is one of my key traits.
Oh,
Oh,
lucky.
nice.
So how many do I roll? Sorry.
So no worries. Yeah, so you do 2 d12s,
Yep.
and just take the higher one.
Yep.
And then how many points do you have in awareness?
Well, I have 15 in strength there. Oh, I have two awareness points.
Yeah, okay,
sorry.
yeah, so you roll 2 d6s, so 2 d12s and 2 d6s.
Okay, so I got 10. Oh, shoot. 10 on the D12 and then 2 and 2 on the D6s.
Oh, shoot, that's only a 14 then.
Yeah.
So you don't quite catch this, and Forma's got nothing. But
That's
Sierra,
because I'm like, Ella here, it reminds me of home. This is what I spoke to you about my friend. So it's on me that you felt.
Oh, man. So Sirith, you hear immediately as the echo of Farrell's voice is starting to fade. Underneath that, you can hear shuffling off to the right, maybe behind the first couple of shelves that are where the shelves started, that part of the library. You hear what is obviously like shuffling footsteps, and the whisper of what sounds like rags.
Okay.
And it seems to be getting closer.
So it seems to be like beyond what we can see, like in another room or behind
It's beyond
something?
what you can see. So you can
Okay.
you can just make out like the edge of the first couple of bookshelves, and you can hear this coming from beyond that.
Okay, so I'm going to go and explore in that area, and I call my companions over to come with me. I say, over here, I can hear something. I don't think it's just the rats.
You do also hear rats.
I do also hear rats.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
I
so
say, rat, the only thing left in the burnt scriptorium.
as you make your way across, you get about halfway across the atrium, and at this point, Sirith and Farrell, you can see more of these shelves in the distance, and you hear this raspy. You get about halfway, and you hear this raspy voice from behind the first set of shelves say, "What do you come here seeking?"
What do we see what this person looks like?
You don't see a person yet.
Okay. What we probably agreed on the way here what we would say, because we were supposed to find someone. So what would we have, a team? What would we have said when someone asked us what were we gonna say? We're gonna be super direct and be like, we seek the man who knows about the ring or whatever, or what would we have said?
Or like that which is hidden or something. I'm the direct one, so I don't know.
Is anyone good at riddling? Is anyone good at riddling?
I've got 2 at riddle.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you can do a roll.
Oh, not me. I got 0.
We could be like, we've come to seek information on the Lord of Nightmares for new stories or for old stories or new. Something like that.
Yeah, and we are happy to make a trade. My friend Vorma has a map that may interest you, and I am rich in Ranger lore and would be happy to tell you all of everything that I know.
When you mention a map, you hear faster shuffling, and as you finish the rest of what you were saying there, you see like a head poke out from behind one of the shelves. And you can't make out much of the face. Vorma and Elhir, you can make out a little bit more, because as dwarves and elves, you got better dark vision. But you see this like almost impossibly old human woman, with like long hair, like that seems to hang like to her waist, if not longer, with the like multiple layers of like ragged robes over her shoulders, and you see like these wizened fingers like pressed against the side of the bookshelf as she leans over, and with what little light is in this room, you can see more clearly than anything else the glittering excitement in her eyes, and she says, "What map?"
I'll show you my map if you give us information that we seek from the Lord of Nightmares. And I'll kind of look at my friends.
I say nightmares.
Nightmares. And we heard there could be information we could find here that we have use for.
Why would you be interested in the Lord of Nightmares?
Why would you be interested in my map?
I'm gonna stand up straight and tall and hot. And I'm gonna try and I'm gonna like flick my long hair so that my my warg tooth is visible because it gives me a bonus for awe. And I'm gonna try and like awe her and be like, elderly lady, elderly lady, we respect your age and wisdom, but do not attempt to bar our way, for we do the work of the righteous, and the nightmare will not stand up to the nightmare that I have been through in my life.
Shit.
I'm showing the
make me an awe roll. Is your awe, is it normally favored?
My awe is favored.
It's okay,
my
perfect. Okay, cool.
bonus.
Yeah.
Although
I was going to give it to you if not, but
yeah, I have. Okay, so I have 3 awe, but I'm using my warg fang, which gives me a bonus dice. That's 4d6 and 2d12.
That is an insane amount of dice. That's going to be great.
I just built my awe. My social skills are ridiculous.
I'm glad one of you did, because I was, as the other character was rolling in, I was like, this might go bad.
I do have 3 in awe for some reason, which is kind of strange but exciting.
Okay, I got an 11 on my highest.
Okay.
And I'm rolling my d6s.
That's good so far.
I rolled a 6 as well.
Nice.
So that I definitely got above my like I got a 6, a 4, a 2, and a 3. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, and with the 6th, that adds a little bit of extra success. I love it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you have this like grandiose, just like flash, and for a moment, your companions, there's almost a little more light in the space.
It's like the famous scene, right? Stronger than the foundations of the earth. All shall love me and despair. Less magic.
The Galadriel. I freaking love it. So just for a moment, and it's a little eerie. And as that fades, this old woman, surprisingly, I think I'm stumbling over my words. To your surprise, you notice her shrink back against the bookshelf, and you see like kind of hunches down a little bit and slides back a little bit further away, so you can see even less of her face, and her voice drops, and she says, "Are you here to take things from the library like the others?"
We seek a person, not a thing.
There are no longer any people here but me. I'm the only one who cares for this place anymore.
They're not holding a prisoner here? That's what we were led to believe.
Oh, you mean the elf?
Yes, elderly woman.
Yes.
For that elf is probably more elderly than you.
You're not wrong. There was an elf, but he's not
an elf from
here.
where?
He told me that he was from Lorien.
Where is this elf now, O caretaker of knowledge?
Why do you want him? What information do you seek from him?
Only information to fight the encroaching shadow, which stains our very souls with its blasphemy.
Yeah, the elf was here, but now he's gone. But he left me with the information that he had. Do you seek the ring like he did?
I turn to my companions and give them that subtle, questioning look again. Like, should we tell her? Vorma's like, I'll tell her.
Sure.
Just don't give her my map.
Do you tell her that you're seeking the ring?
Do we?
I say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we seek a means to hold the ring of nightmares from those that would abuse its power.
If you so much, she thinks about that for a second, and she says, "There's been so much that's been taken, so very little information is ever given to this place. Can I still have the map?"
I pull out, I look at all my friends and I pull out my map and it's on this old worn parchment. I know the map by heart by now. I've looked at it so often. And I look at her and I look at it. You may have the map. I trust that you'll take care of it.
She practically like snatches it from your hands and for a second
Careful with that.
I look guiltily away since I mentioned the map.
She does not look at you accusingly whatsoever. You did what you had to do. And
Maps are like super valuable, right?
you memorize it, and she'll try to replicate it by describing it to someone who has a kit, which there are many people here who can draw.
That's true. That's very true.
Both Sirius and I can draw very well, right? Well, Sirius can write very well. I can draw very well.
Perfect. We'll do it better. Even we'll improve it. There'll be more rivers.
I was about to say, I'm sure it'll be 100% accurate. I've always wanted to
I'm moved by this woman because I was in a scriptorium for a long part of my life. I'm actually going to give her a treasure as a donation.
Yeah, she's you hold.
And I'm going to say the treasure is in the form of generic. It's in the form of a. It's in the form of a gilded, engraved set of letters.
Ooh.
That you would have, but it's gilded.
Yeah.
And they're very small, so I leave that with her, and I'm like, so that knowledge may continue to flow like the waters that my friend Ella here says used to flow in this river to nourish the souls of those that stood against the shadow. Such as my scriptorium, which once burned down when it was attacked by war.
This is a lovely library. You wouldn't want it to burn down.
Yeah.
I tell her, for once, I tell an abbreviated version of that story.
Perfect.
Well, just on that note too, since we're gifted in lore, should we leave some stories with her? Do we have time for that? Or
you can leave her with some stories. Yeah.
Who's good at song? Who's
Yeah.
good at song? That would be good.
I've got song, lore. Yeah.
I've got a bit in song, and I would share a song that is linked to the map of Bilodeau.
Ooh,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a
And
dwarf-
I
like a
will
dwarf song?
sing along with Worma.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. All right.
They'll be good. Our voices are very complimentary.
I love it.
And I just nod ominously in the back as they do.
And the echo is perfect, though. It's just oh.
I'm taking that. Ella, here, do you add anything to the song? Or?
No, I think I let the song flow
That's
beautifully.
Oh, you subtly stand there and listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
That's cool.
Like Legolas, you look off in the distance because you can remember the light of the.
Oh,
fairy
right.
lanterns,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Ella here probably remembers the actual sort of version of the events that the song like
Yeah.
describes. Right?
Absolutely.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. So as you take a few minutes and yeah, you share this song and the stories that are tied to this map, and as you do it, it's almost like for lack of better words, for some of the age in this woman, like you see it kind of disappear. You see her; she stands a little bit straighter, and there's like the light, the almost like hungry light in her eyes when she was peering around the bookshelf. Like the light becomes a little warmer and less desperate.
Oh, that's so sweet.
We helped.
You did.
We helped an old lady.
Yeah. Most times in
can just-
D&D, the old ladies just get slaughtered. So this is great.
We can call it a night. We did so great, guys. I love you all. Goodbye.
Let's go back to the bar.
Done. Yeah, no, and you notice she looks warmer and you can see an energy coursing through her like genuinely. And
I love that this is very Lord of the Rings, right? Because they keep bursting into song every like 5 pages.
constant. If there wasn't at least one song in this one shot, I was gonna be a little disappointed.
I mean, it's telling, right? The system has a skill called song.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so that's very cool. Yeah. So you say this to her, and when you finish, she nods her head a couple of times, and it's almost like she's kind of like nodding to let the emotion either kind of wash through her or settle in her perhaps. And she says, and her voice is still kind of raspy, but even it's lost a bit of its rasp, and she says, thank you. I will find a safe and sturdy place for this map and for these stories. The ring that you seek, the ring that needs to be kept out of the hands of the shadow, or the hands of the wizard. It's located in the palace of the sleeper, which you can find in the Swan Fleet outside of the city. This is what the elf told me is that's where the ring was lost to. That's where the ring was hidden, to keep it out of the wizard's hands. That's where you can find it. No one knows this but me. You can't tell anyone else. This ring cannot be taken into the hands of the wizard or his disciples. It must be hidden away. You can do that. Yes? He's taken so much.
We will do. We will try until the very fibers of our muscles have worn away to fight the shadow and protect this jewel.
And I will say, you have been very brave today, and I would like to record your name on my list of brave deeds.
Ooh.
What is your name, Guardian of Knowledge?
Elderly lady.
Can you imagine that? There's a moment she pauses and she almost like she has to think for a second, and says, "My name is Agna."
I can totally imagine you writing like a dramatist personae at the start of your scroll, and you write Agna, an elderly lady.
An elderly lady.
Played by.
Amazing. Yeah. So Agna.
All right.
Is,
Thank you, Agna. I have committed it to memory, and I will write it when I get a moment.
So what did the Dunedain captain want us to actually do with the ring? Like, did she actually want us to find the ring?
Yeah, she suggested it might be a good idea, to find the ring and then presumably bring it to the Rangers, or do what you want with it, but at least to keep it
Or
out
like
of
kind of
hands.
throw it in Mount Doom or something.
Yeah. Little Mount Doom. Closer.
Yeah, Mount bad future.
Yeah. Mount Sore Throat or Mount Indigestion over there. One of those they'll do. Smaller ring.
So I'll say so she said, or anything else anything more you want from Agna while you were here?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Is there anything else that you want from Agna while you're here, or anything else you want from the library as well, since you're at the library?
I sweep around and take in this vision of books that I miss.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
just-
maybe like you notice that it, like the shelves nearby are like a 10th full, if that. Like they've definitely been
More
people-
full than my
That's-
scriptorium, which
But
is
why?
ash.
I love it.
Forma will just spend one final moment kind of staring at her map, which is one of the last items she has from home, and kind of like strengthen herself and be ready to walk out with her friends.
Oh.
It's okay.
Perfect.
There'll be more.
All right, so have you folks head
You
out?
still have the flask of whiskey, so
That's true.
Yeah.
Dad
More
is wise. Wise words, my ranger friend.
So much whiskey. I think I promised you folks. How are we doing? Do we want a 5-minute like bio break or stretch, or are we good to keep going?
I'm fine to keep going, but whatever people like.
I see some nods. Anybody need to buy? We're okay.
I'm
Yeah,
okay.
fine.
Yep.
Perfect. We'll keep going then. I'm keeping an eye on the time. So yes. Okay. So for the sake of again, I keep saying for the sake of brevity.
And
but
then
I'm
we're like,
determined-
no, describe
So much.
everything.
Describe everything. And the only reason why I keep saying it is because the last time I DM'd something for Bag of Giving, I ran horribly out of time. So
Oh.
There
that's why
is
I keep
no
saying this.
running out of time in shared storytelling. The story just lingers
The
in
road
the air.
goes ever on and on.
Oh my
Brandon.
god.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
In our hearts, if not on the stream.
Road winds ever on and on. I love it. So, Agna mentioned two things, which was the Palace of the Sleeper, and that it is in a located somewhere called the Swan Fleet. Now, you folks have heard of the Swan Fleet, which is a very is a bit of a misnomer in that it sounds lovely, and I promise you it's not. The Swan Fleet is like the marshland just outside of Tharbad, just a little bit to the east. Tharbad's actually like built on what once was marshlands. Part of the reason why it's like why the flooding happened and so forth. And so but the actual still existing marshland is to the east, and that's the Swan Fleet. These days it is gross and boggy and mud ridden kind of year round. And so it's not. Most people don't kind of venture out there these days. Because it's gross and theoretically full of monsters, but only in theory. The Palace of the Sleeper, though, is something else. And could I get anyone who is trained in lore to make me another lore roll? There's a lot of lore rolls in this particular one shot.
Okay. I think all of us have some lore, right?
Yeah.
I have 2, and it's a featured.
Oh yeah,
Or-
that's perfect.
I know nothing. Again, I'm just, my friends have got this. I'm thinking about my map and the echo of the chamber
I've
of
rolled
our
so
song.
many 11s.
Are you rolling, Sharang? Or Farrell,
Yes.
I should say? Okay.
Cool.
I got a much higher. I got like a 20 something.
Dude. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, so you have heard of the Palace of the Sleeper, and you know that the palace is supposedly an ancient structure from I think from the First Age, and it like the sleeper. The reason why it's called the Palace of the Sleeper is it refers to an ancient elf maiden named Nethig. And according to lore, Nethig was let me see here. She was of the people of Celebrimbor, so she was one of the high elves. She was an artificer and a jewel smith, and she was prone to walking the Swan Fleet when it was a bit lovelier of a location. And you know, the way the myth goes is that she lived for centuries upon centuries. Built jewelry, was known to make magic rings as well, and to know a lot about magic rings, until such time as she was visited by the enemy, visited by Sauron.
Morgoth?
No, Sauron. That's a good question. I think it's Sauron. Yeah, no, it's Sauron. Yeah. This is One Ring lore actually. So kudos to Free League for some of what I'm narrating here. So Sauron visited her, pretending to be an apprentice and wanting to learn from her. And she was able to kind of see through his lies and rebuffed him and was like, okay, come on, man. Much to his anger. And because he wanted secrets about making magic rings, and Nethig was like, no. And so, as Sauron was kind of wont to do, when he was turned away and they wouldn't agree to give them her secrets, he returned, supposedly, the way the myth goes, in the shape of a poisonous serpent, and snuck in and was able to bite Nethig and poisoned her, and she fell into a deep sleep, is the way the myth goes, hence Palace of the Sleeper. And so supposedly there's some sort of enchantment over the Palace of the Sleeper that has, again, where Nethig is said to still sleep to this day in this sort of like enchanted slumber, and the Palace of the Sleeper is still supposedly intact around her somewhere in the Swanfleet. And with that high of a roll, you have heard that, like, you've heard a couple of rumors of people having come across the palace, and have actually seen it in the Swanfleet. So rumors that like it still exists. Like people have actually come across this place, but they have either been chased away, or in a couple of cases, like people have gone looking for it and have never returned, because of some sort of creature that's protecting it and protecting Nethig, if presumably she's still inside. And yes, and that's kind of
Celebrimbor is the one who made the 3 rings, right?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
So she was kind of part of his kin or his circle.
Yeah. So I turned to my companions, and I've read this story, right, in a manuscript that has now burnt to ash. So I say, old as dust and old as bones, there lies the maiden who learned to cast stones. And then I had another line. Yeah, she rebuffed his lies, she rebuffed his spies, and now snake-bitten there, asleep she lies. And then I made that up right now.
Looking hot.
I have very low song, so I read this song. My character didn't make that, right?
It's impressive either way, man. It's all good.
So I say, I'm like, oh, this palace that is enchanted still exists, I have read in the writings of the Gilded Traveler, which is sadly burnt. The last copy is burnt along with my scriptorium. But Sirith, Elahir, with your skills, maybe we can find the Palace of the Sleeper and free the student of the Ring Forger from her wicked slumber. And I'm guessing Sirith and Ella here have some explore skills, so I'm hoping. Sorry, not guessing.
Hoping. I can't remember what.
I do. I have 2 explore skills.
I have 2 explore skills, and I have 3 scan, and it's one of my proficiency scan.
I have 0 explore skills, but I have 3 stealth and 2 scan. So
nice.
For what that may help with.
Okay, that'll come in handy probably.
Once we get there.
Yeah, once we get there, yeah, absolutely.
Because remember who's not stealthy? This sexy dude.
I've got proficiency in stealth 2 and 2 stealth, so
I have 2 stealth and a hood.
I'm just too sexy to be
Nice.
stealthy.
That's fair.
How can you cover this up, man?
Yeah. We'll use your distraction, and obviously Sirith is
there
ready.
we go. There we
She-
go.
Maybe
Yeah,
your
exactly,
beauty,
yeah.
Yeah, so,
maybe your beauty
so
will
I know
awake her.
Sirith.
Yes,
Sirith is. I like Sirith. I know Sirith is my bosom buddy, right? So, and I know Sirith is a ranger. So I'm like, Sirith, maybe you with your superb skills can find, because I kind of know rumors of like in like song, like look upon the star of the east and there lies the eternal feast. I don't know. But maybe Sirith could actually translate that to actual like geography and figure out where it might be with her explorer.
Yes,
Absolutely,
absolutely. So do we need to find this place? Is that what we do next?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you can make me an explore roll, and I'll say because of Farrell's both his encouragement and because of that friggin' wickedly high lore roll, I will give you an additional D6 just as a gift from the DM.
Nice.
My
All right,
encouragement is if we don't find it, Shadow will consume us all.
We're all gonna die.
Doom.
All right, so I need to get 16.
Okay.
And what I indeed get is whatever, what are you doing? 14 and an Eye of Sauron. That doesn't sound good.
No.
Can
Okay,
I
we
help?
stumble into a monster nest.
Okay, I steer the group in one direction down an alley, and it is a dead end. So we need
May
to
I-
Aren't
get
we
out
in
of
the
the
swamp? We're in a swamp, aren't we?
Well, you're trying to find a swamp. You don't even get out of the city, apparently.
Still in the city, yeah.
May I look at like the roadways and the stonework and all that and see if I can find a pattern with my dwarven eyes?
Sure.
Did you bought that?
really useful to have a map right now.
Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it
And
just?
give us the map back.
I rolled a 12 and 2 5s.
So
Oh.
12 and you.
Ooh,
Okay,
nice.
That's pretty good. That's
Nice.
What? It's because I'm mad about the map, apparently. Otherwise, she still like heard about
Rage
that.
roll.
It's fine,
Rage roll.
Ranger. First, you lose my map, and now
I'll
I'll help
dead
you,
end.
Sarah.
Thank you, Vorma.
Friends,
yeah,
we
I will
make
say
it better.
with that, you find your way out of the city, which is good. Oh, it's that way.
That way.
Right, because Sirius exploring technically his wilderness skills, right?
Well, yeah, that's I
Yeah.
can follow the stonework of a city. It's okay, Sirith. Like,
totally,
you know,
totally fine.
we all have our strengths.
Yeah, I should. That's partly my fault. I should have made it clear that the explorer skill was like once you get out of the city and into the swamp, then we can start exploring. So, yeah, so you make your way out of Tharbad and you're kind of thumping along in the swamp, and Sirith, you know enough about this region, being one of the rangers, that that there once was a road that cut through the Swan Fleet. Back when there was an actual empire in this part of Middle Earth, and even with the 14. I'll be a little generous with that, and that you're able to find, like, you kind of squelching in the mud. You locate a paving stone that is a remnant of this road, and you're like, oh man, I know what that is, and that's that's enough for Vorma to kind of pick up the lead from that. And Vorma, you stick your hands into the muck, and you feel this paving stone, and you're like, okay, I get a sense for the size and form of this stone, and you really think to yourself, okay, next paving stone is going to be in that direction. You point vaguely eastward. Squelch, 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 squelch. Hands in the muck. You're covered in mud at this point.
I don't mind. I don't mind. It's all good. Muck is part of the earth.
You have that amazing, like, that filthy, sexy look, right?
I'm owning it, Like, I
Right?
meant to look
like
this.
Like Shakira in the video for La Tortura, where
Yes!
she's covered in, like,
Ooh.
black crude oil.
That's me with more hair.
Yeah, imagine
cut.
you covered in swamp muck looking like that.
Nice.
Amazing. And so you find a second paving stone. And that's enough to set you folks kind of on your journey. So as you leave Tharbad, you step into the Swan Fleet, and you're surrounded, like, the marshland it's dotted with these, not super tall, but these dense trees all around you, and the air starts to thicken, and the again, it's muck everywhere as you're striding through this marsh. Often up to your boots, occasionally up to your waist, or especially for Forma. And
Croc, scrock.
got this.
There is muck in places I don't want to think about.
The muck is everywhere, and so you make your way. So you're able to find kind of paving stone after paving stone, and that gives you an initial direction. But the going is slow, and you realize, the four of you, as you are well into the Swan Fleet, that you're not entirely sure where you are in relation to Tharbad, or in relation to the sun. Because the sun is beginning to set as you get into or not beginning to set, but you're in mid-afternoon, and because of the dense trees around you, there's not quite as much sunlight as there was before, and you realize that you may need to look for some additional clues in order to find where this palace might be. Can I get somebody to make me another explore roll, please? We'll see how you folks do.
You can try again, unless
I'll just try again.
Now that I'm out in the swamp, I feel.
I'll also allow travel too if anyone has travel.
I have 3 in travel and I'm proficient.
Oh,
that could work.
Let's do that.
Yeah, since you found the remnants of the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
So I got 10. I got 18 and I had to hit 15.
Oh,
no,
perfect.
wait, I had to hit 17. That's why I just got it. I'm distracted. I'm very mucky. I'm very mucky, guys.
It's muck in your eyes.
Yeah,
It's muck in your beard.
It's like gone beyond Shakira into like Dump Monster. Like it's
Swamp Thing.
Swamp
Thing,
Thing.
yeah,
Still owning it.
It came from the Black Lagoon or something. Yeah, okay, cool.
Sexy Swamp Thing. You sexy Swamp Thing, and you know it.
So, again, relying a little bit on bits and pieces of lore that Ferald has remembered about the Palace of the Sleeper, you begin to look for clues in this marsh to point as to where the palace might be, and one thing that you think to look for are swans. Nothing but, like to wander the marsh, like to look for swans, like to look for birds. So you start kind of looking around for swans and other birds, and you start listening for the calls of these birds that are still in the marsh. And so you start to follow I hear more birds that way. Maybe, you kind of get this inkling that maybe that's the route you should be following. And it's sort of innate too. I have a gut instinct that maybe I should be going this way. And then, as more Ferald, you have more of these details about the story, and kind of the key point of that story was the serpent. Sauron pretends to be a serpent and he shows up. Vorm, you're kind of thinking about this, and you realize that the only if just a random serpent worming its way into the palace would have probably gone noticed, unless serpents were a common sight. So you start looking for serpents as well. You start looking for marsh serpents, and eventually you spot one, and then you spot another. And they're these maybe 4 foot long, kind of noodly, I'm going to say red and orange, for no particular reason, red and orange serpents.
The serpent clad in colors of fire sent by the Dark One's ire.
I love it. Flame wreathed serpents.
And then that page was really well gilded and orange and red. So I described the page to you, and then I'm like, yes, orange and red, like the flames that consumed the Scriptoria.
Your poor Scriptoria, man. Anyway, yeah. So you start following these serpents, and you find more and more of them. And while they are lovely, like the beauty of these kind of the fiery scales of these serpents, you kind of keep your distance too in case they're poisonous, and that eventually you see in the distance as you pass between a couple of trees, this stone pillar.
Ooh. I'll turn to Cirith and I'll be like, I see what you rangers do without maps now, because I suddenly had to look at more than just a piece of paper, and I'll fist bump her. Don't leave me hanging, Sarah.
Yay, fellowship.
Yes, we follow the animals. You know, I'm a strong hunter, and so following the animals never leads me astray.
And I nod ominously at Sue. Like, yeah.
Perfect. And yeah, so you as you advance forward and you pass this this stone pillar, or you approach the stone pillar, you realize that what it is a like a kind of a stone marker, and beyond that is like the mist, or the trees part and the mist parts in this part of the marsh. You see what you imagine must be the palace of the sleeper, which you notice right away is for a ruin that is supposedly from the Second Age. It is remarkably well preserved, which may or may not be a result of the folks who have crafted it. And Ella here, you actually both Ella here and Vorma, you spot right away the architectural styles of both of your kinfolk. Like there is elven architecture as well as dwarven architecture that's kind of intermixed in what appears to be a structure made of 4 parts.
Cross-cultural exchange, love to hear it.
Right? Combining forces. Who says that the cultures of Middle-earth hate each other all the time? Right? Come on. And so you have what appears to be this kind of this large domed structure in the center, and 3 much narrower towers, just outside of it. So the towers are all kind of on kind of one side of this dome, and you can see it. You can see them opposite you. And yeah, all 3 of them. It looked like they are, for the most part, intact. You can see even from a distance that the towers are in a little bit of disrepair. They haven't weathered the ages as well, but again, the fact that they're even still here at all is remarkable. And the dome itself certainly still looks intact. And yeah, that's what you see. You may proceed.
I like such a building to have survived such an age. You know what's coming. To have survived such an age, and yet my scriptoria.
I'll turn to Ella here and I'll say, I can feel inside this palace the riches we could find. Keep me on the straight, my friend. I fear that the dragon's gold and lust calls to me to go hunting in these ruins more than I should.
Mm-hmm. So because Vorma and we have better vision, I guess consulting with you, Vorma, should we observe from a distance for now or go for a closer look? What should their next steps be, do you think? Everybody, I'm speaking to all my friends here.
Yeah.
I say, well, we cannot find anything until we venture boldly.
Mm-hmm.
And I give you all a not discreet look because of no one I'm going around to discreet for, right? So I'm just like eliciting your opinion, but I'm like, we must be as bold as Isildur himself.
Oh no, not like him.
You know what happened?
It didn't turn out right.
Bold.
Didn't work out great for
You
himself.
cannot deny that he was bold.
Yeah, so we're looking for enemies that may be hidden.
Okay, someone on
Yeah,
the,
maybe someone could look from a distance to see if there are any enemies.
Yeah, Vorma can scan well. That's one thing we know. Vorma can scan well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can scan. Boy, howdy can I scan. Would you like me to scan around? Like, I am a scanner. Like, yeah.
You can scan, yeah.
Darkly.
I can scan, can I?
You
Darkly?
could, I'll let a couple of you scan if you want.
Oh, who wants to scan with me? Scan buddies.
I have a couple of scan.
I'm not scan. I'm not a scanner.
I want to say, Ella here. What do your elf eyes see?
Yes!
Yes!
I got 2 6s.
Ooh, 2 6s is good.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I am rage scanning too, apparently.
Yeah, holy shit.
All together.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What's
I
your
got
total?
8, 2, and 5, so I hit my target.
Okay, good. Cool.
I surpassed mine. I'd have to put all these 4 dice together, and that seems to be beyond my current ability. 12, 22, and my target
Shit.
was 15,
Hot
and
damn.
2 6s.
And 2 6s. That's good. Okay. So the two of you kind of both step to the head of your group and scan. I was trying to think of a different word than scan. And scan the
Squint extra hard like that.
yeah, exactly. The surroundings of the palace. And at first you don't immediately see any movement. You can hear again like the occasional bird call. You can hear like the soft kind of like the sound of like toads or other creatures like kind of bouncing in the water, or squelching in the water rather.
One thing I'm imagining is that because I'm like a city boy and Sirith, my best friend, is this like wilderness woman. Like she's like Toad, and I'm just like.
Oh, what's that on my shoe?
There's like
she's like, oh, look at the Toad, and I'm like.
For all as you're standing there, there's like just a serpent just like dangling down right beside you from a tree branch or something, and like it's ever so cute. It's just ever so cute. Totally fine. But yeah, so you scan and again nothing immediately seems amiss, at least for a moment. And then I'll say, Ella here, you notice this first. Almost out of the corner of your eye, you think you see something shift, like really quickly, like almost like if something kind of moves really swiftly just in your peripherals. But you turn, there's nothing there. And a moment later, Vorma, kind of almost like at kind of 10 o'clock from where you're standing towards the leftmost of these three spires. Same thing. You think you see something like move ever so slightly, almost like as though it's passing behind the pillar, but then you look and there's nothing there. And then it happens once or twice more before you both hear what would best be described as like a low warbling sound, followed by almost like a couple of clicks, and then back to the relative quiet. Basically like that, yeah. And then back to like the not that a marsh is very quiet, but back to just like the steady sound of the marshland around you.
Perhaps we should move quickly and get inside the palace and out of these dreadful swamps.
Swift feet, and I like gesture to my companions. Let us move like the flames that consumed my Victoria.
Okay, where are you heading specifically?
Right.
So you got theoretically 4 spots, right? You got the big dome in the center and the 3 spires. Where are you headed?
Is there a door that we can see in the dome?
Not immediately. You'd have to kind of curve either left or right around the dome to see if you can find a way in.
Well, this is an elf ruin, so I'm gonna let Ella here decide where to go because Ella here knows more about elf stuff than we do. Yeah.
Well, I would suggest then that we pick one of the spires, maybe the one on the right,
Sure.
to sort of set us out first. Then I can use my stealthy skills to figure out where to go from there.
Okay, sounds good. So you go kind of like squelch. And as you get closer to the spire, the ground starts to not so much harden, but you seem to be on steadier ground. So it's still soft, but it's more earth than it is mud. As you approach this third spire or this rightmost spire. And as you step around, kind of looking for an entrance, you find on the other side what was probably a stable entrance at some point. But whereas the outside of the spire appears to still be intact, you can see right away that the doorway, the entrance, is just filled with debris. And Vorma, as you catch up with everybody else, you can tell right away that there's probably a staircase. Sorry, I assume the dwarf is this list.
Fine, it's fine.
It's
I'll
totally
catch
fine.
up, guys. Leave me with the swamp serpent.
Just trailing snakes. So you turn it, and you can tell right away that there was probably a staircase inside this spire, and it's unfortunately one of the a piece of the structure that hasn't lasted over the ages, and it's just collapsed and totally blocked the doorway. It looks like there's no way inside this particular spire, unfortunately. As you all kind of form up in front of it, Ella here, you hear that warbling sound again somewhere behind you folks. That is perfect. So you hear that like directly behind you in the trees. And Vorma, you see out of the corner of your left eye the same, like just out of your peripherals in the distance, like something moved and then it's gone.
We should go quickly. Ella here, my friend.
Yes.
So Elliot was potentially right. It's just that the way it
Yeah.
So.
No,
Yeah,
it was a good
with-
instincts.
It looks familiar from the structures of my homeland. But is this sound supernatural? Some sort of spirit or ghost? I have that.
Oh, right. You're good at ghosties, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I have,
true.
That's a good question.
One of my virtues is against the unseen. So, is there a way for me to familiarize myself or the group with what this thing may be?
I'm trying to decide if this. Do I want to make you roll this? Do you have insight by any chance?
Insight? No, 0.
No. What about hunting?
Hunting?
Yeah.
No, 0 hunting is.
Make me a lore roll then.
Okay, I'll do a lore roll. All right, here we go. And lore is one of my featured skills.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Here we go. So I'm trying to. What am I trying to hit here? Sorry, 15. Oh yeah, I got it. So I got 19.
Perfect.
No 12s or 6s. So.
Okay, no, yeah, that's still playing out. Yeah, so you get the sense, like based on the speed of the movement, you've know in your experience, especially like kind of wandering Middle Earth, you've seen a fair few creatures that could move very quickly, but there's something particular about the ability to like it's not movement so much as it's shifting, like that sudden shift. That's very spirit-like. And now that you've seen it a couple of times, you're like, okay, yeah, that's something else. And the warbling sound and kind of the clicking sound. Sound like at first you thought it was a bird.
Did we though?
I mean, all birds go
Every bird on the planet.
Yeah.
I have to say, I thought of red-winged blackbird right away. So, I'm the one. who
Right
got
before
that.
it dive bombs you in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god. You're pretty sure it's not. You're pretty sure it's not a bird. It sounds eerily bird-like, in a way that you can't quite figure out, just like at least with the evidence that you have. But you're like, that's not a bird. So this is set like you're setting off your warning bells of like this might be spirit or spirit adjacent.
It is tingling for sure.
Do we have time to get away, or do we have to defend ourselves from it?
You don't see anything approaching, other than the brief glimpses in the distance. It's up to you folks what you want to do.
Well, while I'm trying to home in on what this could potentially be with my skills, I don't want to waste any time either. So perhaps we just try to find another entrance, and I'll remember, having seen a structure like this, there's one on each spire, right? There's a door on each spire. So let's go to the middle one and see what we can find there.
Sounds
Let's
good,
move
yeah.
swiftly.
Perfect.
Swiftly.
Within moments, Warm is left behind again, but
So tired.
So this middle spire is much more intact than the previous one. But you can see that there's like a thicket of thorny trees that have started to grow up kind of along the outside, kind of pressed up against it. As you approach the spire, you see that there's another door. This one is like the spires they stand pretty close to the main structure, and so the door for this one is, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. If you've got kind of the main dome here and then the spire pressed right up against it, the door is like the opposite side from where the dome is, if that makes sense. Okay. Doorway appears to be intact. There's no debris in the way. And it looks like you can step inside the spire if you wish.
Let us step in the spire, companions. We must get away from that spirit thing that no doubt brings doom and gloom. Had it come to my scriptorium, it no doubt would have burnt it down even faster.
Can I look? I don't know if it works in the One Ring, but can I look for any traps or anything in the, like, is that a scanning feed or?
Yeah, make me a scan thing. I have no idea. This is going to give it away. I have no idea if traps actually exist as a concept in the One Ring. I didn't see it in the book. If anyone from Free League is watching and wants to correct me, go right ahead.
I mean, like, doesn't like the barrow that Frodo? You can arguably say that was trapped, right? Like they like get trapped in it, right? Like, I guess like the barrow white was like there to spring on people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned for my friends. I rolled a 12 and then I rolled a 1, a 1, and a 3.
Oh my god.
So I just
Well, I mean, the 12 means
like
an automatic success.
12 is good,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good because the rest were shit.
Yeah, holy crap. Thank God. Yeah, 12 is basically the equivalent of a natural 20.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so with that, you lean your head in ever so slightly. You don't see any traps. You don't see any dangers that have been set. You do see some markings on kind of the inside of the wall, etched into the stone, a little above your eye level, in Elvish, which I don't think you can read. But other than that, you don't see anything anything else that seems like a trap. You see that there is a stairwell still intact in this spire. However, instead of going up, it goes down into the earth.
Oh, well, that's a better location, anyways.
Oh, right.
The earth calls to me. Ella here, my friend, I believe that your people have left us a message that will hopefully help us before we head down into the bowels of the earth for safety.
Well, unfortunately, it just says here lies the name of the lady that I forget already who's sleeping.
Nothing.
Not much else. Just that she is a distant kin, but unfortunately, I can't read too much else into it.
That's it.
Well, let us go get in there before whatever that doom and gloom noises catches up with us.
Give me the warbling cry once more, Sharang.
Ah!
Yep, you hear it in the back.
Yes, let's move.
Get down there.
I'm echoing my D&D origins here. Can I get a marching order? Who's going first? Who's going last? You have to go single file down this.
People can see in the dark. Will probably go first.
I'll go first.
Cool.
I will follow second. I've got a good stealth and I have dark vision as well. So
Perfect. I'm
I'll
writing
go
this
third.
I'll go last.
Yeah, I'll go third then. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go
Okay,
last.
so
as the ranger.
Ellie here is Ellie here, Vorma, Ferald, and then Cyril? Or Cyril?
Yeah.
Okay. Writing this down for no particular reason.
it sounds like there might be a reason, but I trust you.
I'm glad, as long as somebody does. Cool. So you head down this stone stairwell, and it maybe like a couple of turns before you find yourself at the bottom with this kind of narrow curved stone doorway. No door itself, like just the opening. And when you step through, you find yourself in this stone corridor that appears to be part it curves in both directions, to the left and the right. And so you can see it go in both directions for maybe like 10 or 15, or no, more than that. Say 20 feet? I'm going to say 20 feet. before it starts to curve into the distance. You can't see any further in either direction. Ellie here, since you're in the lead, you see this first. And you're as soon as you step into this corridor, directly facing you is this intricate, like painstakingly crafted depiction of what you immediately recognize as elvish figures from what would have been a region, which is like the kind of previous empire, previous kingdom that inhabited this region before the time of man, or before humans showed up. And it like it painstakingly carved, and it looks like just a depiction of a particular historical event from their lives. And as you look both ways down the corridor, you see one after the other these scenes depicted from essentially the history of your people. And they are quite possibly the most beautiful depictions of your people's history that you've ever seen. And all still intact. There you can see like the floor there, there's leaves and vines and dust, and I was like you can see the age of this space, but the carvings at least are still intact.
Wow. I am reveling in this great hall because a lot of this lore has been gone with the evacuation of a lot of my kin and of course my ancestors from this land, and obviously what the wizard has done to us as well by decimating our presence in Rivendell and in other places too. So I'm taken aback and I'm taking it all in, and I'm regaling my companions here with some of our brief history, and hopefully this is going to piece together where actually the sleeper is. Maybe she is somewhere in this chamber behind one of these artworks. I'm not sure. Maybe we should survey, the walls, or look around, because perhaps the ring is somewhere nearby at the same time too. So I will defer to my companions as to whether that's a good strategy going forward.
As you finish your story, I'm like, yes, truly, so much has been lost, just like my scriptorium.
Oh man, that won't get
how
old.
You feel.
No, hasn't got old yet.
No.
So yeah, Ellie here, or do you want to spend some time scoping out the carvings?
Yes, I will look at these carvings, and I will, concisely summarize some of this history for my friends here at the same time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll look more closely for clues. Is there something like a trigger to turn around one of these walls or something like that?
And I'll help Ella here because I'm interested in art, right?
Yeah, no, I think that makes a ton of sense.
And I can just not like roll, but help inspire too, because there was some. It showed that there was some dwarven architects who worked on this as well, and the dwarves might have.
And you know about stonework, right? So
I love stonework.
Is that
the feeling
hollow?
of it under
Is
hand?
that hollow?
Yeah.
Vorma would know that for sure.
The one that says "press here." Try that
one.
Exactly. I love it.
Subtle.
Yeah. So Ella here, do you want to give me? I forget. Do you have riddle trained? I can't remember.
Riddle.
I don't think you do.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I do.
I have two as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, I had a couple of skills in mind for this one, but give me a scan roll.
Scan roll?
Yeah,
sure.
And is that normally one of your favorite ones or no?
It's not a favorite one, but I have two.
Okay,
so.
it is this time. So give me 2 d12s and whatever the higher number is, and your 2 d6s.
That's because Farrell and I are going behind you, just like talking incessantly about what we might be happening there. So it's inspiring you.
And actually, I'll say if you need it, I'll give you one more d6 on top of that because of their help.
Okay, I'll take the extra. I'll take the extra d6. So
you rolled that well.
So altogether, I got 9, 13, 15, 19.
Oh,
so,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whew, good stuff. But yeah, so sure enough, yeah, so you're looking through these depictions and yeah, like there's history here of and sure, like as you guessed, there's history here of Nethic, and more details of her story and the story of her companions. You see depictions of her. She had a lover at the time, although his name is never mentioned. It's somebody distinct from Sauron. There's clearly somebody else in the picture before Sauron came on the scene. You see in a couple of places Celebrimbor himself, who is the source of all this like the original source of all this knowledge about the Three Rings. And so he's depicted a couple of times, and he apparently was at the Palace of the Sleeper for a time. Not at the same time that Sauron was here. You're kind of piecing it together from the images. There's one depiction that catches your eye, which is it's an elven woman, and you've seen this elven woman a few times. That you're pretty sure this is Nethic, and she's depicted in this carving as looking uncertain, and cradling a wound of some sort, and the between the elven script that's inscribed around her and the nature of some of the pictures that's around her, you get the sense that she's having to make a choice between going west, going west to the Grey Havens as some of your people do, or going west over the sea, or looking for like leaving entirely and finding healing in the Undying Lands and just being gone from Middle Earth. There seems to be when she's considering maybe if there's a way to send her spirit forth, and maybe that might be a way to heal what has happened to her. Which you get the sense that this is after she was bitten by the serpent, and then the image that's directly next to it is of her forging a ring, and that ring. There's a depiction of her forging the ring, and then immediately following that, there's a depiction of her placing the ring on her finger. And then the final image, like a sequence of 4 images, and the final image that you see is of her lying on this kind of stone, not a plinth, but like kind of whatever the long rectangular thing you lay somebody on, but it's not a coffin, one of those things.
Ben.
What's that?
Bench.
Yeah, stone. Yeah, we'll say a stone bench. This narrative is going great. So kind of the stone bench, kind of like laying on her back, with the ring clearly depicted on her finger, and and you can see a chamber depicted around her, and the chamber noticeably has a distinctly curved roof, which may or may not be a clue as to where she is resting.
Okay, to the dome then.
Onward. How do we get there?
Yeah, because we're underground, right?
Yeah.
So do we want to go out and into the dome, or do we follow this passageway, hoping it'll get us into the dome? If we go out, we'll be faced with the
Yeah. And we know that this tower is against the dome, and we didn't notice an entrance into the dome.
Right.
So if they want to defend it, I'm guessing.
Lorna, you know about architecture. Do you think this leads into the dome?
Vorma will either roll for it to see if she actually knows, but otherwise Vorma will state with confidence that yes, this will probably lead into the dome because it's more fortified without a direct entrance into it.
Vorma,
And
I
it
will
was
say-
called the Fortress of the Sleep World, right?
Right?
It was called
The
the
palace, yeah.
That's it. Vorma, I will say that you have enough. I was going to say spatial awareness, but spatial awareness is certainly underground. That you're pretty sure that stepping into this kind of like curved corridor, which as you've kind of with Elahir's lead, you've kind of moved up and down and examining these carvings. You're pretty sure it looks very ring-like, this corridor. You think that you have actually stepped into the palace, and that part of the palace sinks underground.
Nice. Okay, if we continue, we are in the palace now. So let us move forward, my friends. We will find the way.
What fortune we have to have you with us, Vorna. I wish I'd had this fortune back when my scriptorium burned down.
Is somebody keeping track? I hope somebody in the chat is keeping a tally.
I think Harudnell made a joke that they should make a drinking game for every time that you mention it, but that they'd be like dead by the break.
Damn, I should have suggested that. I like that. That's good. So you follow this kind of outer ring corridor. And you, as you loop around kind of the opposite side from where you entered, you find a staircase. And that staircase appears to lead up, presumably into the structure that you saw outside.
Same marching order up the stairs, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so you start making your way up.
Did we? I'm gonna say maybe Sirius and I light like a torch or a lamp or something, because otherwise we were just groping in the dark this whole.
That's a
time.
fair point. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, and it's pretty pitch black. So okay, yeah. So which one of you has a torch?
Sirius.
I do not.
Yeah, I will. I'll yeah.
Okay.
I have whiskey.
No. I'm afraid of fire.
Yeah, you're afraid of fire. All I have is my ready kit.
For the purpose of this, in your general adventure, you would have torches. I just want to know who's holding the torch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm afraid of of open flame.
That doesn't
so
seem
I will-
great.
Traumatized.
I will hold the torch, which makes sense because I'm in the back, so I will light the
Perfect.
way
Yeah.
from
Okay.
I'm not holding a lamp, but Farald gets like afraid of open flame. Even like campfires, like no bitches, no.
I'm not going to hold it because I might set one of you on fire by accident. Because I'm. Oh.
That'd be terrible.
And Ella here just doesn't need it because it's got good eyes.
That's it.
So.
So Sirith, as soon as you light the torch, you like just in the instant that the torch is lit, you're certain that you see something shift just outside of your field of vision in the shadows. But then it's gone.
Oh dear.
All right. Well, I say we keep going, onward, upward,
Okay.
up the stairs.
All right. So you head up, and the stairs again are surprisingly intact for a structure of this age. Fairly narrow, so you still have to go single file. No carvings on the walls this time; it's just kind of bare stone. But there is like almost like a not a glitteriness to it, but a lustrousness to the stone. Whatever material was used, or whatever was imbued
What
into the
luster?
stone. Yeah.
It's
I
like
will
the
begin this-
glittering caves of Aglaron.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so you find, so you get, so the staircase you find yourself, when you get up to the kind of the next level, you see another kind of curving corridor. This one appears to be just like, it's not a full ring. It looks to be more of a half ring. And you see, you could like just from your vantage point, you can see a door at one end, door at the other end, and directly ahead of you, another staircase, or sorry, a doorway into another staircase, I should say. Decisions.
So we have to choose right, left, or middle.
Right, left, or middle.
I turn to my two elf dwarf architect our people.
Well, I would say since the dome was at the top in that depiction, shows her in that domed room, I think we'd have to go higher, right? We'd have to go up the staircase. Because if we're not looking up at the dome right now, we're going to have to go up a little bit, perhaps.
Yep, makes sense to me.
I will lead the way as in front if we maintain the same formation.
Yeah.
Vorma is like casting looks like we might be leaving treasure behind, but okay. Keeps going.
Like Vorma, think of the treasure we find up there. The student of Celebrimbor herself. What rings might she have that she might gift you? Think of that, Vorma.
I would prefer gold to rings, but so be it.
Gold rings.
Oh. Understood. And I'm assuming when we're walking, we're kind of squishing with swamp water, just like.
Oh yeah, I don't like. We never think about in adventure stories how like after the swamp they're probably filthy and they're going in this dungeon crawl and they're filled with swamp monsters.
They stink and there's leeches inside. Like it's not good.
We're leaving footprints.
Oh yeah.
So that anybody could track us.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
The warbler might be tracking.
Yeah. Oh no.
Think about like us like stealthy going through this dungeon. The noise isn't like cool noise, just squelch, squelch, squelch.
Very heroic. So you follow the staircase up, and it opens into let's see here. It opens into what appears to be a very large balcony. And you can see, stretching immediately ahead of you, this well-laid, based on what you saw on the levels below, remarkably clean stone floor, and especially remarkably clean.
We're gonna dirty it.
Yeah, you are. You really are. But yeah, this remarkably clean floor, and then and even more remarkable because of the fact that there's a stone railing directly across from you, and clearly out into the open air. So despite the fact this is the true balcony and open to the air, there's no leaves or detritus or anything that seems to have been scattered in this space. And then to your left, you can see another doorway that appears to lead into another chamber. Heading in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Over here, lead the way.
Perfect.
Okay. Into the chamber.
I'm right behind you, my friend.
Perfect. Ellie, here, as you cross the threshold, who's right behind? Vorma's right behind you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hand on sword.
Yep, of course. So Ellie, here, as you step through Vorma, you watch as around the door, like the outer edge of the doorway, there's a momentary flash, like one character at a time, of some sort of script in, you think it's Elvish, but it goes by too quick. And just kind of like one character, one word at a time, flick, 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 and then it's gone.
Is Elahir in the doorway, or?
Yeah, it's as he's stepping through the doorway.
I'll say, Elahir, my friend, some magic has been activated on this doorway, but you will not face it alone. And I step through with Elahir.
Very guess you step through. And that's just
what else am I gonna do?
Farrell and Sirith, you saw this as well because you were outside of it. But other than the flash, you don't.
Yeah, I made that
see
face. I'm like.
In the chamber, or sorry, anybody else want to do anything or react to that?
Can I roll to see if I can read the words at all at this point? Or are they unreadable?
What's that?
Or are they unreadable to all?
So they don't remain, like it's kind of one character at a time and then they disappear.
Oh, okay.
But I'll give you a scan roll if you would like.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say it's ill-favored.
Okay.
Because you're trying to watch it very quick. So ill-favored means that you roll 2 d12s, but you take the lower one as opposed to the higher one.
Okay. All right, and I only have 1 point of scan. I need to get to 16. The damn Sharang keeps getting me. Yeah, no, I didn't get it. I got
it. Gets us all in the end.
The eye is
true.
fixed on you.
It's true.
Well,
all right, so sorry, I can't.
Was got in the end, so.
That's true.
That's true.
So no good, though, Kate? Okay, all right. So yeah, so you try to track it, but unfortunately, you can't quite follow it. In the chamber beyond, Elahir and Vorma, you see a room that is empty, other than this stone bench. This kind of wide stone bench that's in the center of the room. And lying on that, to your shock, is sure enough the prone form of an elven woman.
Oh goodness!
She
just found a 1,000-year-old.
Yeah, 1,000-year-old elven woman. She is dressed completely in white. So it's these long white robes, and they hang a little bit over the sides of the bench. She's got long, like blonde to the point of almost being like white or silver hair, draped very elegantly beneath her head and to either side. Her hands are clasped kind of over the belt that cinches her gown. Her eyes are closed. And that's the only thing that is in this room is just that plinth and this occupant.
This is like a wonder of the age, right? This is like, we just found a 1,000-year-old elf woman. Like, this is like a marvel. So I pulled up this poem for just a reason.
Ooh.
I I behold this like marvel of the millennium that we just found, and I'm like, Elbereth Gilthanael, Silibren Penna Miriel, O Menel Aglar Elenath Nacheret Palandiriel, which is like a song to the Valar who like put the stars in the heavens.
Oh, damn, man.
Nice.
Not bad.
And I because it's like this is like it's hard for us, I would even imagine, to imagine like we just found this like legendary like mythic thing perfectly preserved. So I'm just standing there in like not like shock in the negative, and awe. I'm awed, right? I'm like by this, and I'm just like.
Vorma is very much like, she just whispers under her breath, "This is the greatest treasure we could have ever found," and she stares in awe as well. Not quite the awe face that Farrell can make, but still, like, very much in awe, and does not get too close.
Farrell has a very expressive face, we're gonna say. He's very hot, remember.
Right, I forgot about the hot part.
And if anyone's interested, they have a translation here because it's in Sindarin. The translation is, "O Elbereth star kindler, white glittering slants down, sparkling like jewels from the firmament, the glory of the star host." So it's all about like the beauty of the stars, because it's about one of the Valar. So it's like I'm overcome with the beauty of the sea or whatever.
I like that.
Nice.
Yeah, and this elf woman is indeed rather striking, and you're all kind of struck, just like not just by the image of this figure in this space. Yeah, what would you like to do?
I would like to see whether she's wearing the ring.
Oh yeah.
You're being practical. We're like, oh.
Everyone else is like,
well, my friends are overcome.
I mean, Sirith should do that, but just for party stuff, like the ring was taken by the Lord of the Nightmares at some point, right? So anyway.
Also, it was a story told to keep people at bay too. We don't know.
True, yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. So
so
is she wearing the ring?
Yeah, sure enough, Sirith, you see that she is in fact wearing 2 rings.
2 rings.
Yeah, she's wearing 2 rings. One is on, so her hands are kind of, like I said, clasped over her belt. One ring is on her, the pinky finger of her left hand, and one is on the middle finger of her right hand.
I hear in the images inscribed below, where was the ring? On which finger?
Down in the basement?
Yeah, the image that we saw, because you saw the ring.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember?
I don't recall, no. But there was only one. It was on the pinky, was it? Yeah. Okay. It was on the pinky. In lore, she's sleeping after being poisoned. Is she still in fact alive? Is she sleeping here, or?
Somebody make me a healing roll.
Not me.
I have healing. I have 2.
All right, Sirith, go ahead.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
I have 1. I'll attempt it if Sirith fails.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and it is not favored.
No, I have Sauron. No, I have Sauron.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've rolled enough of those, Kate. Holy shit.
I know. Yes. Okay. So I got a 9, a 5, and a 5. 19. All right. Excellent.
Nice.
So I easily meet my target.
Love it. Yeah, so you, as you look away from where her hands are clasped and these rings, you kind of examine her form, and it takes you a moment, but you notice that it's very slow and very shallow, but she is breathing.
All right. So one of us may be able to heal her, but presumably they would have had healers back in the day when she was originally stung,
like
right?
the master elven healers, right?
Yeah. So it's got to take more than just healing, I would think.
She has
I mean,
spent.
maybe the poison has weakened over 2,000 years or whatever.
She has spent all of this time and given up a future into the beautiful lands of the elves to save and protect this ring. She would not want us to let it fall into evil hands. She would understand what we are about to do, which is to claim it.
And the hands truly are evil. I know, because I firsthand have experienced my scriptorium burnt by the hands of this beast.
Well, Ella here, she's your kin. What do you think? Should we try to waken her, or should we just take the ring?
Well, we should approach with respect, nonetheless. Perhaps we can offer her a song.
Yes.
Song break! Yeah.
Big enough.
I do have a bit of singing skills. I have 2. Perhaps I should offer one from our lands, our original homelands, and see what happens.
I love it.
Nice.
May we join you in the...
Yes, please. Okay, so shall I roll, Brandon?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, okay. Let's see here.
I just sway to the music. I don't speak Elvish. So I'm just
oh no! Well, my song is a dud. I've come up
no.
short. 12, and I'm supposed to hit 15. So
Ella here is overcome.
Yeah, I think it's just too emotional to hold it together.
Yeah.
The
This is your great 1,000 times grandmother or something, right?
Yeah, this is the auntie, one of our grand aunties, right? So I'll need a moment to compose myself. Perhaps
right.
Anybody else with song may offer one, and perhaps I can join.
I have a
this
one.
Place, this place was made with elf and dwarf architecture, right? So maybe
maybe a dwarven song would be appropriate.
I can try. If you will join me.
Before you try, Vorma, maybe I can try and rouse the blood with my enhearten, so that we are enheartened to sing, right?
Yes, that sounds good. What does that mean?
So like
aside from that enheartening, I feel really
that sounds great.
Here is overcome. Okay, this is gonna be a moment, guys. Okay, my bitches, this is a moment. Okay, because normally I'm very bombastic, right? Farrell is very bombastic, but he overcome with his beauty and seeing Ella here try and make the song but unable to. Actually, for the first time you've ever heard me quietly and softly and very straight from the heart and not yes, blah, 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 right? I talk about the after the monastery burned down, the last thing I saw, I grabbed this parchment, this scroll that I have, right? So I describe like seeing it in the ashes, and like the like beauty of it was so striking. It's the last of my scriptorium's parchments, like my master, my apprentice master, that kind of master, literally made it, and I helped him gild it. He didn't let me touch it. I just made the foil for him, right? And very quietly, I talked about like beauty that fades, and it's such a treasure that we found this beauty, and that we have so much responsibility to keep this beauty alive. And I actually said quietly and sincerely for the first time ever. Maybe Siri has heard me once or twice say something quietly and sincerely, but here I don't. I say it, yeah, exactly. I say it that way. And so I'm going to invoke my scroll, which gives me an enhancement in Hearten.
Yeah, man.
So I have favor, and I'll have 4 dice because I have a 3 in Hearten. So this is to inspire us to do whatever we need to get this woman awake or whatever. So
we can step up and join Ella here in song or whatever, and it's
yeah.
The echo in the dome will be beautiful and hearten our friend.
And maybe it'll be a harmony of Elvish lyrics with Dwarven lyrics.
Yeah, a song about home and returning home. No matter how long the road, we always end up home.
So I got an 8 in my D12 as my best D12, which is a good sign because my heart is pretty good. The wrong device for my character sheet. My rating for heart is 14, so I'm pretty good there. I got a 6, so I definitely exceeded, but I also got a 6.
Nice.
Perfect. I love it. So you like between the gravity of that, like the object that Farrell is using, and just the emotion of the space. I was like you all feel like you're here for a purpose. Like that, you some mud and dirt and stumbling along the way, but you were meant to be here. You were meant to find this place. You were meant to locate this object. And as the last of Farrell's words fade, you hear Nethig herself doesn't stir. There's no change in her form, but the ring that is on her pinky on her left hand, all of you see just almost like a glitter across, like just a momentary shine across its surface that then fades.
So I had a sad heartfelt thing, and I see that, and immediately I go into my mode again.
So take from that what you will.
I'll wait for Ella here to take the lead here. This is his kin.
His domain, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will cautiously approach, offering words of thanks and respect to my ancient relative who lies supine there. And I will assure her that we come forth with good intentions, with pureness in our hearts, and that we are hoping to salvage the good that's left in this land after some 5 tumultuous years, and that hopefully, with my initiative going forth, I'll restore, abundance in our homelands as elves as well, and this is what I'm telling her as I approach. And I kneel before her and slowly remove the ring from her pinky. And then what happens?
So you're holding this ring, which is as you're examining more closely, you recognize the material. This ring is it's not simple gold or silver as much as Vorma might like that. It's mithril. This particular ring, and you can see it as you kind of hold it up to your to examine it more closely. You can see these softly etched runes on the inside of the band, which are not Nelvish. You can't immediately read them, but you have an inkling that they may be tied to the essence of this particular ring. And as you're examining it, you hear from directly in front of you, a soft voice say, "I always thought that one was rather beautiful." And you look up and realize that Nothing's eyes are open.
My jaw drops.
Wow.
There are no words.
She's still lying. She's just lying where she was. She's kind of turned her head so that she's looking right at you, Ella, here, and says, "Thank you for your words and your kindness. What age is it?"
Oh God.
Ella here, have fun.
She's speaking in like ancient Elvish.
She's speaking in Elvish. So actually, yeah, so that's fair. Yeah. So the rest of you wouldn't understand.
Or she could be like, you know how like Galadriel. Like,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, she's got
Yeah.
she's got the kind of the universal story. So she speaks in Elvish, which Ella you recognize, but the rest of you can understand what she's saying.
Mm-hmm. So she went to sleep in the second age, is that right?
During
the first
way
age.
early in the second age. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot.
And this counts as the fourth age now, I guess, right?
Yes, indeed.
So I guess we have to tell her.
It's just been a couple of months. It's fine.
In a hot second.
Yeah. So
Girl, you overslept.
Yeah. So good news about Sauron, though. That's
a
been
good
good.
point.
The
That's a
dude
good
that poisoned
point.
you, he's
Yeah.
long gone.
Yeah.
However.
Yeah.
So I'll tell her that my ancestor is the fourth age. Much has transpired.
And she takes that into the fourth age. How did the fourth age? How did we reach a fourth age?
It goes.
With grueling difficulty.
Yes, with many losses and much change, but Sauron has been defeated, and that brought on a fourth age.
How was the enemy defeated? Who managed to defeat Sauron?
The Grey Pilgrim.
We do not say his name, for he has kept the ring for himself, and he is now a nightmare upon these lands.
And the
Do not speak
shadow
his
still
name.
encroaches. They burned down my script.
They called
Nothing
it.
says not a scriptorium.
The scriptorium. At the mention of the there's this look of recognition on her face when you mention the Grey Pilgrim, and then when you mention that about like what happened to the ring, that look of recognition grows cloudy, and she says, "He didn't tell me that he kept the ring."
You've spoken to him recently, madam?
I did. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that this was a fourth age. I didn't realize, and she kind of like shakes her head, like almost like she's kind of shaking. She did just wake up. I was gonna say like she's shaking sleep from her eyes, but she's like, he didn't mention that it was a fourth age. He mentioned that he was still fighting the shadow, that he needed the secrets of rings, but he didn't tell me that he had the ring.
Did you tell him the secrets?
And she gives you this look like, come on.
I'm like, girl, you've been tricked by a ring person once.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I will tell no one those secrets without just cause. He asked, and I did not answer.
So I say, I'm like, madam, we don't want this ring to fall into the hands of the shadow, or who knows how many other scriptoria he will burn. We must destroy, even though it is beautiful and it is your masterful work, it is too dangerous to reside within the hands of mortals. Even the Astari are corrupted. What hope can we have to resist the lure of the shadow that can burn down Scriptoria? How do we destroy this ring?
Destroying a ring such as this is no small feat.
And I'm like, we are a fellowship of companions that are all about feet. Feet, sorry.
We're all about feet.
Feet. We have gone through many perilous adventures, including the dreaded and we will undertake this feat and do what must be done, lest the fate that befell Musket, which you don't know about, let me tell you. But like with the fate that befell, we will do what must be done to save Middle Earth.
Somebody make me, and it can be Ferald or it can be somebody else. Make me an awe roll, and I feel like it should be Ferald, but it can be anybody.
Okay, I don't think I'm used. Oh, does this use my fang? Do you think?
Does it use your what, sir?
Does it use my fang, which is my awe item?
I would. I'm going to say no for this, based on context.
So I have 3 points in awe, and I have favor.
Yep.
Perfect.
So that's a cocked die. So roll it again. Okay, so that's a 7 and a 6. So 7, and I got a 6.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely exceeded.
Yeah. Okay.
my
Perfect.
16,
Cool.
But I got a 6.
Perfect. So yeah. So she considers this for a second, and she says, perhaps it is time for this ring to pass. But it would mean
All things pass into the west. What can you see?
And he steps out from the shadows.
Annie Lennox comes out from the shadows.
The good thing about playing a game like this is we all have like references that we can draw
I
on.
fucking love it.
Which is very fun.
But then she says, but it would mean my passing as well. And at that point, she coughs.
Oh no!
And you recall that she is still
Poisoned.
she is still poisoned. And she coughs a second time, and you can see that there's an error. As in the short time of this conversation, there's been an ever so slight change to her pallor, as a result of the ring. In addition to having her waking up as a result of the ring having been taken off. And she says, if it means the true defeat of the man who has become the enemy, I would sacrifice that.
I look horrified at my companions because who are we to destroy such a thing of beauty? Not the ring, like the person, right? Like, I look horrified. I'm like,
This is not a sacrifice we can ask of you.
And I am especially horrified because this is a link to a bygone era, right?
Yeah.
Can I try as a Dunedain of the party to roll for healing to see if I can heal her where so many others have failed?
By all means.
I thought you were gonna
Yeah,
walk up
maybe
and cut the
modern
ring
medicine.
finger.
Just grab a pillow.
Lol.
Don't worry, it's gonna be quick.
This quick. We'll make it quick.
Yeah.
Just don't fight.
Lol. Now, I was gonna say, like, 2,000 years have passed. Why do we assume that medicine was better 2,000 years ago, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
when I first began this journey, I failed to identify myself properly to the other rangers. I feel like I need to prove something as a ranger that I have the Dunedain skills. So I will try.
Do it.
I have 2 points in healing. All right, Minerva, don't roll for me. Thank you.
She's helping.
She loves dice.
Play.
Who
All right,
doesn't?
Here we go. Yeah. Yes, I got a 9, and a 4. Excellent. So I am good. I got my 14.
Okay.
Half a 14.
Yay!
With that success,
I don't know if I can heal her.
Well, that's the thing. So with that success, you, the change in your pallor and the cough, is. Unfortunately, you don't have enough to go on in order to heal her, and as you give her a quick examination, even with the knowledge that you have, you realize right away that you're missing some core elements of what you might use to heal her, and this the poison that is afflicting her, because it literally came from Sauron directly. With what you have on you is a little bit outside of your expertise.
Like Morgul blade types.
Yeah, that's kind of basically but significantly significantly more than that. And as you're kind of doing this examination, Nethe catches your eye and says, "I appreciate your concern, but unfortunately, the only thing that will keep me intact is." And she points at the ring, and even that's simply a stopgap.
Sirius, my friend, perhaps the best healing that you can do today is to make sure that her name is remembered.
That's true. If we give her back the ring, will she be restored to health?
Giving her back the ring, she'll return to sleep. But the poison will no longer afflict her, so you basically return her to the state she was in.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Grey Pilgrim will find this ring.
Eventually.
So I think we have to ask Nithig what her wish is.
Yeah, that's a good question. She says, if you think that this ring would be of use, if the fight is that significant, you may take the ring and I'm willing to pass if you think it's right. My age came and went, so unfortunately it's up to you folks.
I nod and I'm like, soon everything. No, in the end, everything is consumed by flame, just like my scriptorium.
So she's willing to go either way. So it's up to you folks to decide. You can either.
Yeah, so I say that saying like in support of we should destroy it, but this is not a decision we can take lightly because it's a huge thing. So I'm in support of destroying the ring, especially because she said yes. Right. So.
Yeah. Same here. Essentially, the guidance of an elder, from my perspective, she's willing to sacrifice that. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree that she didn't ask to be restored to her sleep. So, I would agree with that as well. So we can take it to the Dunedain, who may be able to destroy it, or we can discuss what to do with it, I guess.
Okay.
I think the hearts of men can be corrupted, so I think we should go forth and destroy it in whatever way she says we should do it.
Okay.
We can take this quest to honor your life and your sacrifice.
Yeah.
In which case she'll say, if there is any means to destroy this particular ring, will be kept in the libraries, the storehouses of my people. That would be where I would search first, if they still stand after all this time.
All right. I will say thank you, and I will record your name among the very bravest.
Okay.
And I guess we head out.
Yeah.
And like I say we like lay her down and I say sleep, my lady, sleep your last. Remember the times past, and I like put her to sleep.
And we can sing a song while she passes.
Oh, more songs!
More songs. It's like the same song, but now with the like dark undertone.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the minor key.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Minor key song.
I love it.
In A minor.
Yeah, because the song that we sang, like I gave those words, I started those words about how beauty fades. It's our responsibility to protect beauty, right? But that's like a darker meaning now. Like beauty fades, she's fading, but we need to protect beauty by destroying the ring. So it is the same. It's the same song, but the darker undertone.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So you folks depart the chamber. As Nethig begins to fade and basically hears the song as you folks leave the chamber, and it kind of echoes in the chamber throughout the palace as you leave the building, and she presumably whatever limited time she has left as the poison courses through her as she passes. With the ring in hand, you folks set out from the Palace of the Sleeper.
We like put it in like a leather thing. We don't have to touch it.
Yeah. So you secrete it away.
We know how this shit works by now.
Yep.
Don't lick the ring. Don't.
Don't eat it.
Don't
it's
swallow
not an
it.
accessory.
It's all these things. So you have the ring, and you leave the palace, step back out into the marsh, to whichever direction your party may decide to take it, whether it's to the Dunedain or somewhere else, which is perhaps a decision for another.
We should
day.
go to Isengard.
Maybe you could.
All the secrets.
Maybe,
Right, because like Saruman studied Sauron, right?
He did. He's not around anymore, though.
So what was that?
He's not around anymore.
Gandalf killed him.
Right, but his tower is.
That's
right?
true. The tower is still there, so that might be
Right, Orthanc is still there.
That's
so
true. Orthanc
if we
is
need to
still
find secret things about magic rings, how to destroy them, we either go to Barad-dûr, which we're not going to, where Gandalf is, or we find another place.
That's not a bad idea. I like it. I like it. But anyway, so whatever destination you folks may have in mind, it will be the party's next question. The next quest that you go on. And as you folks are stepping into the marsh, the last thing that you hear from the Palace of the Sleeper is there's a sound almost like a crack of lightning, even though there's no storm anywhere nearby. And you can hear echoing from the balcony in the palace. What almost sounds like the soft tapping of a walking stick or perhaps a staff as someone moves about inside as you folks.
Like the wandering pilgrim, the grey pilgrim.
Let's get out of here now.
Yeah, that place. You know what's gonna happen to that place? No, it's gonna catch fire, John.
Well, let's go before you have
now.
to witness this again.
I don't want to say exactly. Thank you, friends, for saving me from that sight.
Let us go.
And you folks continue on to whatever adventure you might find next.
We're taking the party to Isengard. We're taking the party to Isengard.
Yeah,
I haven't even watched that, but I know it because it's so famous.
But yeah, so we'll close it there, my friends.
Thank you, Brendan.
Excellent.
No, thank you.
That was fun.
Good.
Mission accomplished. Straight on. That was cool.
Cool. Thanks for diving into that. No, that was awesome.
The warbler will haunt me forever. I don't know.
I know.
We never found out what that actually.
No, I was living at the time, and I was like, do I throw the warbler at them? Did they meet Neth? I was like, I can do one or both. I was like, nothing's more important.
Now it will remain the scary mystery forever. Yeah. It is a ring of nightmares after all, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it.
Sure.
That's it. So I'm conscious of time. So that was awesome, though, folks. That was a blast. So to our audience out there, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks to those of you that were active in the chat. That was great. I am looking at folks who either donated or sent me their favorite Lord of the Rings character. I'm going to do a quick.
Thank you for donating,
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
That's great. I wasn't doing a proper job.
Literacy, because you know what happens when Scriptoria burned down? Less literacy. So thank you for helping literacy through donations to this organization.
Yeah, no, it's very, very important. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, it all like just the audience and support from the community is phenomenal. I love it. Yeah, so I'm going to do a very quick kind of look at the emails that I got, and I'm going to do a quick roll to decide who wins a copy of the One Ring.
Yay!
Ooh.
Okay, what am I going? Ooh, okay. So that is going to go to, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but to our friend Paul Weimer, who
Yay,
is
Paul!
a long time, I know, audience. That's awesome. Long time audience member and has been supporting us the whole way, Bag of Giving. So congratulations, Paul.
Thank you for supporting,
Prince Justin.
Paul.
Hey, that's awesome.
You are honorary unburnt scriptorium.
Yay!
So I don't know if he's still in the chat. If you are, I will
Justin.
shoot you an email or a message on Twitter for that. So congratulations, and thank you to everybody else who donated and sent us emails. If anyone's curious, Paul said his favorite character is Elrond, which is most excellent. Elrond is a badass. I think it's a good choice.
Excellent.
So yeah, without further ado, I'll turn to the players really quickly if you want to tell everybody where your stuff is so folks can check out your work. I'll go in reverse order from before, so I will start with Wob.
You can just find me on social media. I usually plug in my stuff there. On Twitter at Wob, that's at WAUB. On Instagram, the same, at WAUB. And on Facebook, just my full name, Wob Gijik Rice. So thanks a lot. Miigwech. Really appreciate it.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Sharang.
So I'm Sharang Biswas. You can find me on Twitter at Sharang Biswas. Or you can also find my itch page, which is astrolingus.itch.io, which houses some, award-winning games. Or you can, wait till my next piece comes in Lightspeed, or my next poem comes in Strange Horizons, which are coming this fall, and things like that. So yeah.
Perfect. Kate.
Yeah, I am easy to find. I'm Kate Heartfield on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on TikTok now. It's
Kate, you're on TikTok.
Look out TikTok. Yeah.
Hot
damn. Look out for the Assassin's Creed book in August. And this has been a real pleasure.
Awesome. And Marie.
Hi, I'm Marie. You can find me on Twitter at Marie Bilodeau. On Facebook, I have a Facebook page, and on Instagram as Glitterbomb Bilodeau, which I do not, I am told, post enough pictures of my new kittens, who are adorable. And if you saw the door move in the back, that was them running back and forth like some crazy wild tornado of fur, which is great, very peaceful. So yeah, find me, come hang out. It was amazing to play, and thank you to everyone. This was great.
I have met the Smalls, and the Smalls are delightful.
They are. They're everywhere right now.
I have no doubt. Once again, I'm Brandon Crilly. I'm mostly on Twitter at B_Crilly. I think I'm also on Instagram. I forget what my username is on there.
Very active.
So very active. Or BrandonCrilly.com, where my newsletter and stuff is. But yeah, Twitter's the easiest place to find me. Without further ado, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to my 4 players for joining me today for this. I've been looking forward to playing this for a while, and for indulging my whims, and telling a phenomenal story. I thought that was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's that. Good night, folks, and we'll catch you next time. I think our next game is July 11th, but stay tuned for updates.
Wait, is that me?
That's you, yeah, sure,
no,
yeah,
I'm on
that's you, man.
20-something.
No, that's not. No, it's not. No, actually, the next one is Lone Wolf, which Marie will be in.
Oh, I'm in that one. Yay!
And our illustrious channel host, Greg Wilson, will be DMing it, a game of Lone Wolf, with Marie, Kelly Robson, Jeffy Kennedy, and Derek, another Ottawa person, Derek Kunskin, is going to be playing that.
Yay.
So stay tuned for that.
So everyone watch and donate to that cause as well.
Yeah, please do.
Yes.
Yay.
Night, folks.
Bye.